To the 40, down to the middle of the field, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Blue Springs.
Yeah, definitely some technical difficulties there for us, but we are live now. Good to be back here. Obviously, right to the air to a touchdown. Big 3rd and 5 conversion there for the Wildcats. Just a quick slant and all the way to the house.
And a quick strike indeed. And the Wildcats here lead it 6-0 with 10:31 left to go in the first.
People who missed those first 2 plays, if you're tuning in, it was a 5-yard run and then an incompletion. And then now obviously followed up by that touchdown. A great start there for the Wildcats. Looked like maybe a possible quick 3-and-out, and instead, touchdown. Extra point.
It's good. And Romero puts it through the uprights, and the Wildcats here lead it 7-0. With 10:31 left to go here in the first quarter. I'm Austin Eckert. Alongside me was Cade, and you are watching Missouri High School football right here on A10Varsity.com. We'll be right back. And we welcome you back live in Lee's Summit, Missouri, as the Wildcats of Blue Springs take an early 7-0 lead here on the road. And it's a short squib kick. It'll be fielded back at the 5-yard line on the far side. Chris Harris takes it out. He's past the 30 to the 40-yard line, down the near far sideline, and he'll get pushed out of bounds near midfield. And a great return right there by Chris Harris, and that's where the Titans will go to work here to start things off. And of course, like we said, we had a few technical difficulties, so we had a little bit of a late start to this, but alongside me is Austin, and alongside with me today is Cade, and we've got a pretty good matchup here between the number 16 ranked Blue Springs Wildcats and the Lee's Summit West Titans. Lee's Summit West last year finished 3-7 overall with a 1-5 record in Suburban Gold Conference play. Lost a tough one in their first playoff game last year at Raymore Peculiar back on November 1st. And Edwards is going to get sacked back at the 35-yard line, and the ball comes out. Do the Wildcats fall on top of it? It looks like it might be their football, unless they rule it a sack. Edwards might have been down before the ball came out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was down there before that came out.
So Edwards goes down with the sack. Could have easily been a fumble right there, but the Titans catch a break.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that would have been a massive loss right off the bat if they would have give up the quick touchdown and then a turnover. But like you said, last year for them, an underwhelming season.
And we already got a penalty before the snap. Looks like it might be a false start.
Yeah, I mean,
Summit West.
Last year, 3-7, 1-7 in district play. So obviously a fresh start, a new year, but something to look forward to for Titans fans. You have the senior cornerback back, Dawson Edwards, the big 6'5" senior, hoping to lead the Titans to a more positive year. And I think if you'd ask him, obviously last year wasn't the year he wanted. So, and then this game, even more specifically, 37-0 last year, looking for a different outcome this time around as they find themselves down 7-0 early.
It was almost a year ago to this very exact date that both of these teams squared off against each other last time. Lee's Summit West looking for a more positive result. Edwards rolling out to his left. He's going to heave it down the middle of the field, and in a triple coverage. Did he come down with the catch? No, it's incomplete. And Edwards was looking for Harrison Perkins down the middle of the field, and it'll bring up 3rd and long.
Yeah, an interesting read there by Edwards. Obviously, like you said, just chucking that one into triple coverage. Really nothing there kind of early for that attempt of a pass, but I get it. Those early game jitters, week one, you've been wanting to go against competition all summer long, and here's your game. You're going to take your shot.
3rd and 22, all the way back at the 30-yard line of Lee Summit West. And they'll have to get all the way up to the Wildcat 48-yard line for a first down. It's a wide receiver screen play out to Chris Harris, and he tries to shift through a couple defenders, and he's going to get taken down right around the 34. It won't be enough for a first down. So the Wildcat defense, to start things off, they're going to get a 3 and out. It's about as good of a start as you could have if you're Blue Springs here coming on the road and looking to get a statement win.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Obviously, the quick touchdown on offense, then now a quick 3 and out for the Titans. You can't ask for a better start for West. I like that play there. I know you're not going to get the first down, but just getting the ball into Harris. He's your top receiver coming back from last year, probably the best offensive production they have back. So good to see him getting the ball early. Hopefully they can get him going on a more productive drive.
Aiden Ouch looking to punt this thing away. It's a high kick. It'll take a bounce at the 37, and it'll take a Titan roll all the way down to the 29-yard line on the near side. So the Wildcats will go back to work at their own 29-yard line, as you all saw on their previous drive, and we were able to finally get up on the air. It was a quick touchdown strike over the middle for 64 yards to make it 7-0. And just tell me a little bit what you saw on that previous drive for Blue Springs, and what does Lee Summit West need to do defensively?
Well, I mean, obviously
stops?
We were off air for those first 2 plays, but they had them facing a 3rd and 5. I mean, you're 1 play away from getting your offense back on the field, and just kind of a lap there in zone coverage. Both linebackers kind of strafing right, left. They were able to hit it right across the middle of the field, and the rest was history for Blue Springs. So, I mean, Titans just need to settle into this game. It's still early, still a lot of game and action left. And they almost, like I said, had the stop last drive, so we'll see.
And a whistle blown by the official. There might have been a penalty on Blue Springs, and that does appear to be the case. And It's a delay of game penalty, so moving back 5 yards. So now they're going to have to move all the way back to the 24 on the left hash.
Yeah, you ask what do the Titans need to do better on defense? I mean, that'll help, though, regardless of the outcome. Early penalties, so a good opportunity here now at the 1st and 15.
1st and 15. Erickson pump fakes, fires to the far side, and it's over the head of the receiver and incomplete.
Yeah, good coverage there by the Titans. Able to hit the receiver as the ball was coming in there. Perfect timing. And like you said, overthrown. I think that would have been a tough catch anyways to haul that one in.
So now it'll make it 2nd and 15 with the delay of game penalty 2 plays ago. They pushed them back 5 yards. They originally started at their own 29. Now it's 2nd and 15 with 8:14 left to go in the first. 7-0. Blue Springs leads it here early on the road. Wildcats coming in as the 16th ranked team in the A10 varsity top 25 rankings. And a swarm of Titans are right there to make the tackle, and it'll bring up 3rd and long for Blue Springs.
Yeah, that was Ronnie A. Toombs getting in there and making the tackle. Toombs obviously was one of their leading defensive linemen last year. That outside linebacker edge rusher is kind of where he operates. Another thing that's interesting for them is they only have 1 of their 3 defensive linemen returning. So Toombs has a lot of responsibility to make some plays for this defense. They did lose quite a few key starters, and we'll go over some of those guys later we get into this game.
Erickson all by himself in shotgun. 3rd and 15. Swings it out left, and it's caught by Staley, and he's going to get pushed out of bounds at what appears to be the 31-yard line. It won't be enough for a first down, so the Wildcats will have to punt it away for the first time tonight. There's a gain of 8 on that previous play from Erickson to Staley, but it wasn't enough for the first down, so now it's 4th and 10. And back deep to punt.
Yeah, good stop for the Titans. I mean, they almost did that a drive ago, this time able to finish the process. And like that early delay of game by the Wildcats obviously helped them to be successful.
Oh, it's going to go over the head of Romero, and the Titans trying to fall on top of the ball, and they do, all the way back at the 12-yard line. So a costly mistake by Blue Springs on special teams.
Yeah, Panto, the senior safety, getting in there. Didn't block it like you said. It was the high snap, but able to be aggressive off that edge and get to the ball before the punter could recover it. And that is a huge momentum swing. You can feel that one here in the stadium. As now, like you said, the Titans are set up in business.
Jonathan Panto recovering that muff from the punter as he tried to reassess the ball into his hands and just couldn't get the punt off in time. Now the Titans are set up shop nicely in the red zone. 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. It's a handoff play to the left side, and he's going to go nowhere right there. And on that run there for Lee Summit West was Corey Lillis, the 5'9" senior running back, weighing 220 pounds. And I was kind of watching, Lee Summit West a little bit last year, and one of their strengths is the run game. I do feel like that Lee Summit West did a decent job throughout the season last year establishing a consistent run game at times, and obviously it'll be interesting to see how they incorporate that here in tonight's contest. So a loss of 1 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 11. Edwards back to pass, fires over the middle, and it's over the head of his intended receiver and incomplete.
Yeah, I mean, the Titans definitely capitalized on a strong run game last year, but the key part of that we're going to have to look at this year is obviously they're without their 2 starting running backs from a year ago. Alexander Duncan was that lead power back, and then they had Tavion Sims, who's kind of that gadgety, elusive back, ran a lot of slip screens and tosses with him to get on the edge. He's that kind of the speedster, and they're without both of those guys. So an established that run game now with an entirely new backfield.
So 3rd and 11, the Titans are going to have to get all the way up to the 2-yard line at least if they want to keep this drive going. 6:05 remaining in the first. Edwards back to pass, fires it out wide to the near side, and it's incomplete. And in and out of the hands of Myrick Rollison. 4th and 11 coming up, and they're going to bring the field goal unit out.
Yeah, tough break there for the Titans. They had Rollinson wide open on the flat there. I don't know if he would have got the first down or even in the end zone, but that's one you got to get. And obviously, we just talked about the missing running backs, and he's the new guy that's going to have to step up for him.
Truman Brenton, senior, the right-footed kicker. They're going to have to call a quick timeout. And I think there might have been some confusion with the substitution, so Lee Summit West going to have to use one of their first timeouts here in the first half.
That's a smart timeout. I mean, it's week 1. You're going to make a lot of mental errors. It's just what's going to happen here in high school football, and there's no reason to make this field goal any longer than it needs to be when you're just trying to get on the field goal. I mean, you just had the great starting position. You didn't get away with a touchdown. You got to come away with the field goal here at least. So I like that timeout. Make sure everything runs perfect.
We'll stay on here for the time being as both teams will get ready to take the field here in just a moment. It's a pleasure to have you all here on A10Varsity.com, whether you're tuning in onto the A10 Varsity website or on YouTube. Football season's back, and it's back and better than ever, and we got 2 really good teams going head-to-head here tonight. It should be an exciting matchup, and we've seen some things happen here for both sides already here in the first. But the Titans will look to get their first points here in the 2025 season with Truman Brenton coming on to attempt a short field goal attempt.
Still waiting here a little bit, but, not to give any announcer jinx here, but if they're able to make this field goal, that's more points than they scored last year. So it'd be a better start to this game for the Titans than a year ago and cut this back to a 4-point game.
High snap and a little stutter step to the approach, and the kick is no good. Yeah, that didn't have any power on that.
I think it was a bad hold. I think the kicker was waiting for the hold there. Kind of was a mishandled there, and then obviously he waited. Like you said, he stuttered into the kick. All emotions are off. That's a tough break for the Titans, considering they took the timeout. They tried to get everything smooth and give their players a ton of time to think about that. Maybe too much time. They might have iced themselves there. So a rough break for the Titans after the punt. They get the turnover, all that momentum, and then it just swings right back to the Wildcats.
Well, a mental error costs opportunity for Lee Summit West to get on the board here midway through the first quarter. 5:57 remaining in the first as Blue Springs leads it here 7-0 on the road against the Lee Summit West Titans. We'll go ahead and step aside for a brief commercial break. We'll be back in just a moment with the Blue Springs Wildcats taking over at their own 20-yard line.
Check.
And we welcome you back in beautiful Lee Summit, Missouri for some Friday night football between the number 16th ranked Blue Springs Wildcats and the Lee Summit West Titans. A mental mistake for the Titans results in no points on that field goal attempt. And a quick slant pattern over the middle to Staley for a quick first down. And the Wildcats wasting no time getting things going on their third drive of the game.
Yeah, Staley, I mean, he's already shown his speed once this game. And there he is again on a quick slant, able to catch that. And, I mean, he's one broken tackle away from housing it. It's the senior receiver. I looked for the Wildcats to go to him quite a lot tonight.
It'll be 1st and 10 at the Wildcat 38-yard line.
See if the Wildcats get the run game going here in it at all. I know they got no one in the backfield, so it looks like another pass, but they have yet to really go after this Titans' new D-line.
Erickson all by himself in shotgun. Quickly fires it over the middle, and it's caught at the 42-yard line and trying to fight for another yard or two, but they'll mark him down at the 43-yard line. So only a gain of 5. It'll bring up 2nd and 5 here for Blue Springs.
Yeah, Erickson getting into a rhythm here early. You know, the quick slant there, then a little curl route across the middle of the field, just completions. And, I mean, what looked like a gain of just a handful, they give him 6. So fighting for extra yards after that, and they continue to stay in this 5-wide look.
3 out wide to the left and 2 out to the near side to the right. Erickson once again all by himself in shotgun. 2nd down and 4. Erickson trying to scramble out of the pocket, and he evades the rush. He scrambles to the near side, and it's incomplete as he tried to connect with Staley. But Erickson evades 2 defenders coming right at his face and got out of the pocket and tried to make a play, but the pass falls incomplete. It'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, only 4 yards to go here on this 3rd down. I don't think they would run it here, but we might see it as they finally get out of that 5-wide formation. They might just leave this running back in to block. Obviously, like you said, Erickson under a lot of pressure. They're able to escape it.
Erickson in shotgun here on 3rd and 4. 4:31 remaining in the first. Erickson in shotgun with a back lined up to his left. 2 split out wide on both sides. Erickson takes the snap on 3rd and 4. Flush looking for an open receiver, and he's going to go down for the sack.
Great play call there by that Titans defense. Toombs did not show the blitz until late. Erickson was making his pre-snap adjustments, never saw Toombs sneak up on the side, which had to change the entire blocking assignment from that Wildcats front 5, and they were just not ready for that blitz at all, and it gets right in. That's that week 1 stuff you see. I mean, as an offensive line, how many games have you guys played as a unit together? How are you going to make those reads and those calls to adjust to those late blitzes? And obviously right there, the Titans got one home in a big way, and that's going to force a punt here.
And they'll boot this one away. It's a side-winding kick, and it'll be fielded back at the 33-yard line for a fair catch. And so the Titans will go back to work after missing out on a field goal in their previous drive. They not only did they miss out on making the field goal there, but they also recovered a mistake for Blue Springs. It was back-to-back mental errors. So you have to go back to the last 3 and out that Blue Springs had, and the punter had the snap go over his head, and he tried to punt the ball away and didn't get it off in time, and the Titans got the ball back at their own at the Blue Springs 12-yard line, and couldn't come up with anything. So we'll see if they can do something here on their third drive. 1st and 10 all the way back at their own 33. Edwards in shotgun. He'll fake the handoff. It's a pitch up the middle, and he's going to get all the way up to the 39.
Yeah, I love that fake handoff pitch, like you said, up the middle. Just a really productive play there. Get that D-line moving one way, the linebacker's eyes kind of reading the wrong thing, and able to pick up a handful of yards on first down. Just a positive play. That's something this Titans offense hasn't had a whole lot of so far. See if they can settle in on this drive.
So 2nd and 4, a gain of 6 from Perkins. The handoff to the left side, trying to bounce around a defender, but he'll go down at the 44-yard line. Myrick Rollison again.
Yeah, height the corner. What a tackle there. I mean, diving in there, getting the shoelace, a shoelace away from an easy, probably 15-yard run. So Height with a nice play there, that senior corner. Another thing to mention on Height, he plays both ways for them. You'll see him out at receiver a lot tonight, too, as well as corner. So he'll be making plays all over the field.
1st and 10 at their own 44-yard line. Edwards takes the snap, quickly fires it over the middle, and it's dropped and incomplete. Looked like it was a little short of the intended receiver, Corey Lillis. They'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, they showed a late blitz there. The linebacker walked up right behind the nose tackle and just snuck right in there. I don't think Edwards ever saw it coming.
2nd down and 10 with 3:12 left to go here in the first quarter. And we'll see if Edwards lines up in shotgun all by himself. He's got 3 split out wide to the right.
Possible screen situation here.
And Harris is going to line up in shotgun. He's going to take the direct snap. He's going to run it to the right side, trying to bounce around a couple of defenders. He's going to cross the line of scrimmage and only get all the way up to the 45-yard line, it looks like. There is a late flag.
Yeah, great pursuit there by your Blue Springs linebackers. I mean, a lot of misdirection, a lot of trickery going on there. And that's something the Titans down the stretch to wake this offense up. They started doing a lot more of that. So to see that early for me is a positive sign, them trying to run some misdirection trick plays. Obviously that time did not go the way they wanted, and there also was a flag.
Well, it looks like this could be on Lee Summit West. As you can see, the West players moving back a few yards. I'm not exactly sure what the call was. They didn't make an official call or anything, but they're going to move the ball all the way back to the 34-yard line on the other side.
I just saw there it was holding on the offense. So, and that's not really surprising, when you're doing all that misdirection, trying to get to that edge.
Right.
And they read it so well as a lineman. You're just trying to grab anything to not let your guy be the one that makes the tackle.
So the holding call will put the Titans back at their own 34-yard line with 20 yards to go here on 2nd down. Interesting formation here for Lee Summit West. And he's going to fake the handoff. Edwards going to take it himself and get all the way up to the 38.
Yeah, Dawson Edwards, we talked about it, 6'5", 225 pounds. He will keep the ball every now and then, or, if he needs to scramble out of it. Not the fastest player on the field of that size, but, man, it takes quite a few Wildcats to bring him down. That is a lot of weight.
So now 3rd and 16. They're going to give Edwards 4 on that carry. So 3rd and long for Lee Summit West. And they're going to have to get all the way up to the Blue Springs 46. 2 split out wide to the right, 1 out wide to the left. And Edwards going to take the snap in the shotgun. He'll fire it over the middle, over the head of the intended receiver, almost intercepted. Nearly intercepted there by Corey Mayfield.
Yeah, Mayfield, like I said, just right place, right time. It was just an overthrown pass, and it almost went right to him. That would have been a great play for that Wildcat defense. Titans get away with one there, but similar drives from both teams back-to-back there. Both teams kind of with that early penalty pushes them back, and then after you get that penalty, neither one of these offenses could get enough yards back to get anything going.
So 8 and out to punt it away here for Lee Summit West. 2:09 remaining here in the first quarter. With the Wildcats holding a 7-0 lead. And he barely gets this one off. This one's a wobbly punt. It'll be fielded back at the 45-yard line. A flag is thrown and returned all the way up to the 43. We'll see what the call will be made here on the field. It looks like it might be a block in the back, so this might push the Wildcats back a few yards.
Yeah, I like that from the Wildcats. I mean, they showed a lot there. They actually didn't even send the full blitz, but like you said, they almost got home. So look for them to maybe send an all-out blitz at that punt later in this game. They were really close that time. Titans are going to need to adjust something on that special teams unit. I mean, a blocked punt there. I mean, I would think about the field position that would have given the Wildcats. That's something they got to remember they can take advantage of.
So now Wyatt Erickson and the Blue Springs Wildcat offense will go right back to the work here with just under 2 minutes remaining in the first. And Erickson's going to send a receiver in motion. Takes the snap in the pistol formation. Handoff up the middle. And he'll fight his way up to the 44-yard line. I don't know if he got past the line of scrimmage. We'll see if they'll give him any yards on that carry.
Yeah, I like that. You saw the receiver go in motion, height there. Like we said, both ways. It's something you can go back to. He was open on the bubble screen underneath, but obviously looked like more of a design run there, just a misdirection. Try to get that defense moving. And a short yard gain there for the Wildcats with the run.
2nd down and 9. Back at their own 44. Play action. And complete to Staley. No, they're going to say incomplete.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he had that one once again, going back to him on a little bit of a poster out there, or a deep cross. You saw that. It hit him in the hands. He had it, lost it, and it looked like he re-caught it, but the official doesn't think so. So, once again, I mean, Staley might be having the guy to guard for the Wildcats tonight as they're looking to get the ball to him quite a lot here, especially maybe here in this 3rd and 9. Wouldn't be surprised if they go right back to him.
So 3rd and 9 with 1:16 remaining in the first. Only 10 seconds left on the play clock.
Don't want another delay of game. They've already had one.
2 split out wide on both sides. Erickson takes the snap in the shotgun, and he is going to be met in the backfield by a swarm of navy blue and silver. And the Titans defense with another stop, and it'll force the Wildcats to go 3 and out once again.
Yeah, Lane Pinnell is going to be credited with that sack from the linebacker position, but what a play there by the Titans. That's their 2nd sack this game. Now, one of my big question marks, we didn't get to do a lot of pregame in this, but only one of their 4 defensive linemen from a year ago is returning on this unit. So a big question mark for me was how are they going to generate, that pressure on the quarterback. But doing a great job early in this one, already with 2 sacks.
This one's a high booming punt. Fair catch made at the 33-yard line. There's a little bit of extracurricular going on after the fair catch, but they'll mark him down at the 35-yard line. So Lee Summit West will have 65 yards of turf here to go down the field and try and tie this game up here at 7 apiece. But what we've seen so far, it was a quick start for Blue Springs, and they were able to get a long touchdown on their first drive. And then Lee Summit West goes 3 and out, give the ball back to Blue Springs. Blue Springs with a mental mistake in their punt formation, with the punt going over, the snap rather, going over the head of the punter. And then Lee Summit West, on their next drive after that, they get an opportunity to try and put up a field goal, and there was just a bad hold to the snap. And so we still remain here at 7-0. Hand off to the right side. Gets all the way up to the 46. They might mark him down at the 45, so that'll give him a gain of 9, so it'll be 2nd and short.
Yeah, Titans with a little bit of momentum here, going to hurry it back up. Maybe right back to that run.
And there's going to be a flag as there was some movement up front before the snap went off, so it'll be a false start penalty on Lee Summit West. So after the 9-yard carry, they're going to get pushed back 5 yards.
Yeah, that's just a tough break. I like that of the Titans. They're kind of trying to speed things up. Obviously, so far, not a lot of action for them offensively in that first drive. I like that no huddle, maybe catch the Wildcats off guard. But when you do something like that, I mean, you had 2nd and 1. Then you just needed to hand it off, and you got the first down. Now you're 2nd and 6. It's a whole different drive.
So we are going into the second quarter as the first quarter ends here at Lee Summit West High School. The Wildcats of Blue Springs lead it here 7-0 over the Titans of Lee Summit West. We'll be stepping aside real quick for a quick commercial break, but we'll be back on the air momentarily. You're watching Missouri High School football right here on A10Varsity.com.
Tiki taco, tiki taco. Tacos, burritos, nachos, and bowls. Fresh frozen drinks, ice cold beer, and desserts. Tiki taco, tiki taco.
My name is Bree McNally. I am actually a server downtown at Grunauer. Our 15-year-old son was in an automobile accident and he was taken by ambulance to Children's Mercy Hospital. So when I called Eric, he just, was upfront about everything, let me know what the process would be. So Eric was easy to communicate
Just a
with.
second.
I could Facebook Messenger him, call the office.
2nd and 6. It's a handoff play up the middle, and he'll get all the way up to the 41. So it'll make it a gain of only a yard there. It'll bring up 3rd and 5.
Yeah, Ronson, the running back there. That's their new running back. Like I said, he's got big shoes to fill with Alexander Duncan being gone. So far, a couple of good carries for him, but right there, like I said, only gaining the 1. It's going to be a 3rd and 5 here, and a really important 3rd and 5 for this Titans offense.
Edwards lined up in the shotgun formation with the back line up to his left. This one's batted up in the air, and it's caught by Rollison, and he'll try to get around a couple of defenders, but he'll be taken down at the 40-yard line. But for a second, it looked like play was over, and Rollison was right there ready to catch the deflection and try to make something out of nothing. But
yeah, I think that's just how they drew it up, right? That's exactly what they wanted to have happen on the 3rd and 5. But yeah, 4th and 5 here, obviously an unfortunate thing by Dawson Edwards under a lot of pressure there. Kind of gets hits as he throws it, and then, like you said, Rollison just kind of in the right place at the right time. But not a gain, not a loss. 4th and 5, and a punt is what you get.
it's the 3rd punt of the night for Aiden Ouch. So he'll try to pin the Wildcats deep in their own territory here early on in the 2nd quarter. High punt. Fair caught at the 31.5-yard line, it looks like. We'll see where the referees mark him down, but they'll just mark it down at the 31. So that's where the Blue Springs offense will go right back to work as they try to add on to their touchdown lead here, sitting at 7-0 here in the 2nd quarter with 10:31 remaining. We want to thank each and every one of you right now tuning in on A10varsity.com. We certainly appreciate you all spending your Friday evening with us. And like I said before, football season's back. It's arguably the best time of the year. I'd like to think it's the best time of the year. And there's absolutely nothing like being here under the lights here on a Friday night.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I mean, there's nowhere else I'd rather be on a Friday. Just like on Saturday, there's nowhere else you'd rather be in a college game, and on Sunday, there's nowhere else you'd rather be than on your couch watching an NFL game. You get 3 days in a row here for the foreseeable future, and we're just excited to be back out here calling some Friday Night Lights.
Got college football starting last week. The first official week of college football starting, I guess, tomorrow, or I guess yesterday if you want to count all
some of those
games
Thursdays.
there.
Yeah, and I mean, once you get going, they'll start exclusively being on Saturday at most of them. But yeah, this early season, I don't blame college football taking advantage of it before the NFL gets going.
You got the NFL starting next week. A lot of exciting football games ahead on all 3 levels. And the Wildcats will go right back to work at their own 31. He'll try to bounce around a couple of defenders, and he's going to try to reverse field. He's still on his feet, and he's going to reverse back to the near side, and he's going to get tackled back at the 27-yard line, but there is a late flag. However,
yeah, Mayfield there, I mean, the tailback for him, I mean, what a play there. I mean, he must have ran about 30 yards there and didn't gain a 1. Just, I mean, making everybody miss but never gaining anything. And on top of that, this offensive line for the Wildcats struggling. Already giving up 2 sacks, and then, like I said, right there, I mean, they give the handoff to Mayfield. He's got nowhere to go. I mean, instant pressure from that front 4 from the Titans. And I'm honestly astonished right now with this Titans defensive line. Like I said, a lot of turnover there, but the production just as good as it was a year ago.
so all 3 officials are talking with each other real quick, and looks like it's going to be a block in the back, but they're going to decline the penalty since Blue Springs lost about 4 yards on the previous play, so it'll bring up second and long here. Make it second and perhaps a long 14 yards for this Wildcat offense. And indeed, it will be second and 14.
Yeah, this is that pin those ears back time for these DNs. See if someone can get it in there.
Erickson takes the snap, swings it out wide to the right side. Bouncing around a couple of defenders. He's down the far sideline. Crosses midfield, down to the 30-yard line. And taken down at the 22. A long pass play on a wide receiver screen. Puts the Wildcats just outside the red zone.
Yeah, great play calls there by the Wildcats. We talked about just the play call, the pressure they're getting. So what do? How do you get around that pressure? Well, a quick screen. You let everyone kind of rush upfield, dump it off to a guy on the right and let him run upfield, and that's exactly what they did. A lot of speed there, and like you said there at the end, how many extra yards? He must have fought for at least 5 more yards there. So the effort definitely shown on that play.
And Zay Height I think he bounced around maybe 7 defenders on that play. He seemed to be very elusive there. And
man on a mission.
Man on a mission indeed. First and 10 at the 22. Erickson will keep it himself up the middle and only gets a gain of 2 yards, so it'll bring up second and 8.
Yeah, quick pressure there, forced him to step up in the pocket. Looks like he might have had somebody open, but just not enough time to get that one out. As this Titans D-line just continues to create havoc in that backfield. See if they can bend but not break for this Titans defense that, a season ago, on average, gave up 31 points a game. So this could be a nice start if they can hold the Wildcats even to just 3 here. Keep it just a 2-possession game, 10 points.
Erickson takes the snap, and it's a running back screen play on the far sideline at the 5. Trying to extend to the goal line. He'll get taken down at the 2-yard line. So it'll put the Wildcats just outside the goal line as they try to add on to their 7-0 lead. It'll be first and goal.
Yeah, Erickson's just taking advantage of this gutsy, aggressive attack by this Titans defense in these situations, just getting the ball out quickly, finding somebody open on these blitzes, and just getting upfield.
And there might be a late flag here.
Yeah, I saw a flag come out on the sideline. The officials are going to talk about this one. I'm not sure if it was a hold. See what they give us here.
Well, this would definitely be considered to be a drive killer here, but I think they're going to just take the flag away is what the head official is saying. So,
yeah, it was on the far sideline. I didn't really see anything that looked egregious or a hold, but you can hear the groans from some of the Titans fans. Of course, yeah, a penalty there would have been massive for him, taking away a first and goal.
So it'll be first and goal at the Lee Summit West 2-yard line, with the Wildcats looking to punch it in here with 8:42 remaining here in the first half.
See if they go to Oldberg or Mayfield here. See who's lined up in the backfield. Yeah, looks like Dante's in the backfield for the handoff.
First and goal at the 2-yard line. Erickson fakes the handoff, and this one's batted in the air and intercepted! And he'll get pushed out of bounds at the 10-yard line. What a play!
Drew Garberg there, the linebacker. What a play by him. Batting it up and getting the interception. Unfortunate break there. They had the open man in the end zone, just kind of slipped around everybody, but a huge interception there. And this Titans defense coming up with, once again, a massive stop.
Drew Garberger right there to bat the ball up and come down with the interception on first and goal at the 2-yard line.
What do you get back to? Looks like about the 9. First and 10 from the 9-yard line now for the Titans. This offense for the Titans, not a lot of success through the air, not a whole lot of run attempts, but a couple of drives. We talked about that, the 2nd and 1 and then a false start. So no more mental errors for this Titans offense, and they see if they can get things rolling.
So Edwards and the Titan offense will go right back to work as Edwards will keep it himself and get past the 20 all the way up to the 23.
Yeah, Edwards just with an absolute quarterback keeper all the way, just powering forward and just stumbling for 15 yards.
So Edwards keeping it himself on a quarterback option to make it first and 10 at their own 23. Edwards in the gun with a back line up to his right with 2 wide receivers split out on both sides. It's a handoff play to the right side. Bouncing around to the 25 and spins out of bounds at the 28. Give him a gain of 5 there on the carry. 2nd and short coming up here for the Titans.
Yeah, I mean, picking up 6 on that. If you saw that right off the bat, quick edge pressure there for the Wildcats. But able to get around that edge and sneak forward for a gain of about 6.
4 split out wide to the left, 1 out to the right. Edwards all by himself in shotgun. He's going to lob one up towards the near sideline and incomplete. And a late flag is thrown at the 40-yard line. It'll be a pass interference call on Blue Springs, it looks like.
Yeah, obvious pass interference there. If you saw him, he had him one arm completely grabbed back, but a good idea there from Edwards, kind of just throwing the 50-50 ball. He saw the one-on-one down the sideline. 2nd and 4, he's going to take his chances, and a nice penalty there.
It'll be a 15-yard penalty on the pass interference call. And I'm pretty sure that's why Lee Summit West wanted to just lob it towards the near side like that and have 4 wide receivers split out to the far side. I mean, if you could try and create that one-on-one matchup and force the defender to maybe grab a jersey in the middle of the throw, probably get some free yardage there.
Yeah, definitely just taking advantage of the look the defense is giving you.
No doubt about that. Edwards will fake the handoff. He'll pitch it up the middle, and he's going to get past midfield. And he'll go down at the Wildcat 40-yard line. Chris Harris right there on the reception. Yeah, as Edwards faked the handoff and pitched it up the middle. That's the 2nd time that we've seen that specific play happen tonight, and it seems like that's been working out.
A year ago, that was kind of a staple of their offense. That was with Sims, who's obviously graduated, but now seeing Chris Harris kind of slip into that role. They like to use their speedy receiver in that kind of gadget role, and you see him getting some real good positive yards there.
Edwards, quick throw to the left side, incomplete, intended for Chris Harris. And they'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, that one was almost intercepted. That was a risky pass there. Colvin almost got lucky with an interception there, and that is not what you want from this Titans offense. Obviously, not able to find any points early in this one, and then an interception there would have been a drive killer. So a good break there for the Titans.
So 2nd and 10 at the Blue Springs 40-yard line as Lee Summit West looking to find the end zone or at least try to put some points on the scoreboard before going into the half. And like we've talked about, Blue Springs shut this team out 37-0 last year. So the Titans looking to get some points on the scoreboard here. It's a reverse pitch play back to Harris. And spins around a defender and goes down at the 40-yard line. So a gain of nothing on the reverse option play to Harris as he tried to shift around a defender on the left side.
Yeah, that was Zay Height once again. I mean, we've already seen him come up with a huge play on offense, a couple of big plays on defense. Height is a star player week 1 here for this Wildcat.
And like you said, there's a lot of players for Blue Springs that can play on both sides, so you're going to see a lot of two-way players specifically for the Wildcats and some for Lee Summit West. 3rd and 10. Edwards taking the snap in the shotgun. And he's going to be met with some pressure, and he'll go down back at their own 45-yard line. I'm not sure if the official threw a flag in the middle of the play, but I don't think there was a flag thrown. I could have sworn I saw the far side official get ready to throw a flag, but
you know, I mean, I don't know what the flag would have been, but if anything, possibly a offsides on the defense about how quick they got there because, I mean, as soon as Edwards had the ball in his hand, he had 3 Blue Springs players screaming at him. So rough break there for the Titans, just trying to find their first point still offensively in this one.
And the Wildcat defense applying a lot of pressure up front here in the first half. And I think the Wildcats are going to call their first time out here in the first half as they will take a moment to talk things over as they'll look to get the ball back here with just over 5 minutes remaining here in the second quarter. 5:24 with a 7-0 Blue Springs lead. And we'll kind of talk about Blue Springs a little bit because, like you said, we didn't really get an opportunity to do a little bit of pregame stuff. So we'll kind of just go a little bit of an overview here with Blue Springs. And with Blue Springs here, on the other hand, we talked about how Lee Summit West season went last year, going 3-7 and 1-5 in Suburban Gold Conference play, and losing a tough one in their first playoff game to Raymore Peculiar, who only won one game last year in the regular season. So it's just not the way that they wanted their season to end. But on the other hand, for Blue Springs, they had a gut-wrenching end to their season last year with a loss to Blue Springs South in the 6A district semifinal game back on November the 8th of last year. And they lost that game 19-12.
Yeah, I actually got to call one Blue Springs South game last year, and that was a really good team. So unfortunate break for this Blue Springs. Obviously, that's a rivalry there to lose to your rival in the playoffs. But, both teams, I think, obviously want to have a better season than last season. Yeah, the Titans did worse than Blue Springs, but 6-5. We want to do a little bit more than that this year. And getting it started like they did last year. I mean, we talked about 37-0 last year in this game. They're only up 7-0, still anybody's game. It's as tight as it can get. But this Titans offense has got to get something going. As now, once again, they're sitting here punting it for the fourth time this game.
Aiden Ouch back to punt for Lee Summit West, and the snap's going to go over his head. Can Ouch get the punt off? Yes, he can, but it's going to be a side-winding punt, and it'll take a Wildcat bounce. Back at the 42, but the ball bounces back to the 49-yard line. We'll see where the officials mark that punt, but at least Ouch didn't get tackled or anything and got the ball off. Obviously, it's the same thing that we saw with Blue Springs. So both special teams units, punting-wise.
Yeah, both long snappers with a high snap so far in this one. Like you said, luckily enough, they were able to recover that one and at least get it off. If not, I think Blue Springs would have been sitting at about the Titans' 15-yard line. So a lucky break there to get that one off, but still unfortunate for both of these teams. They both obviously want to get those punts going a little bit cleaner, those units polished up.
So Wyatt Erickson, the Blue Springs offense will go back to work with pretty good field position at the Lee Summit West 44. The Wildcats come out with two split out wide to the left, one out to the right. Erickson will hand it off. Up the 40 to the 35. He'll go down at the 33 for a long gain there from
Dante Olberg with the carry right there. I mean, powerful runner so far in this one. I haven't really seen him at all throughout his high school career, him being a senior running back for this Blue Springs team, but gutsy run there, just hard runner. Looked like it was going to be possibly more off the run, but the thing to watch there is if you watch closely, Erickson held that out there for a little long, so don't be surprised if he pulls it one of these times and takes off himself. We've seen him on some of those pressure plays running around in the backfield, so he's got some speed to him.
1st and 10. Another handoff play. Past the 30 to the 25. And trying to fight for extra yardage. And they'll mark him down at the 23, so another long gain right there for another first down for Olberg.
Yeah, back-to-back carries with Olberg. Don't fix it if it ain't broken, So maybe the most consistent offensive production we've seen from any player on this team.
They're actually going to mark him just short of the first down marker, so it'll be 2nd and inches here for Blue Springs at the Lee Summit West 24. And we've got some whistles here before the snap. And it'll be an official
There we go.
timeout.
Yeah, so I think the yard marker on the far right sideline was still set at 10 yards. He didn't get the memo. It wasn't a first down. They still had a 1st and 10. So they had to get those sticks figured. But I'd be surprised if they do anything here but hand it off to Olberg. I mean, obviously back-to-back good carries. You might as well go to him one more time and pick up the first down. I mean, we saw earlier in this game the Titans had the same situation and got that false start on a 2nd and 1. So let's keep things clean here in week 1.
4 minutes, 20 seconds remain here in the second quarter. Erickson trying to evade the rush, and he's going to go down back at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about it. I mean, you hand it off to Olberg there. I think you get the first down. Now you're sitting there instead of 2nd and 1. It's going to be, 3rd and 8 after the sack. So making it a little bit more difficult on them with that drop back. And once again, the Titans pass rush, I mean, has been relevant all night long. As I haven't seen one time the entire game where Erickson has been able to just kind of sit in the pocket and read a defense. Every play he's under pressure, he's running around, he's trying to find anything open. So now a big 3rd and 8.
3rd and 8 after the loss of 7 on the sack. And some late whistles, and Blue Springs is going to call another timeout. They'll use their second timeout here in the first half with just under 3.5 minutes remaining here in the first half. 3:29 to be exact. 7-0, the Wildcats lead it here over the Titans. We'll go ahead and step aside for a brief commercial break. We'll be back on the air in just a moment.
My name is Bree McNally. I am actually a server downtown at Grunauer. Our 15-year-old son was in an automobile accident and he was taken by ambulance to Children's Mercy Hospital. So when I called Eric, he just, was upfront about everything, let me know what the process would be. So Eric was easy to communicate with. I could Facebook Messenger him, call the office, text him, and he was always super responsive and handled everything in a timely manner.
And we welcome you back on A10varsity.com, whether you're tuning in on the A10 Varsity website or right here on YouTube. We want to thank you all for choosing to spend your Friday night with us. It's the number 16th ranked Blue Springs Wildcats taking on the Lee Summit West Titans here on a beautiful Friday night here in Lee Summit, Missouri. Erickson will get ready to take the snap on 3rd and 8 after the 7-yard loss on the sack. And the quick pass play out to the far side completes. Out of bounds near the 20-yard line. It'll be enough for the first.
Yeah, who else other than Zay Height? One more time, get him the ball. I mean, go to your star player on a big 3rd and 8. Get him outside, wide, one-on-one, just a quick curl route there on the far right sideline. Able to make one man miss. He's off to the races. Easy first down, a little quick pitch there from Erickson.
3 split out wide to the left, 1 out to the right. Erickson with the back line up to his right. Running back screen play as Olberg will try to get around a defender at the 20-yard line, but that's where he'll go down. You can kind of hear the commotion going on in front of us. I think they wanted an illegal receiver downfield penalty, if you will.
I think there was a couple of calls. I saw a definite hold there. There's one downfield. But, these officials, it's week 1 for them too.
Right.
I mean, there's going to be missed calls. So you can't hold it to them. I mean, everyone's out here making mistakes. It's just people got to settle into the season a little bit.
2 split out wide on both sides. Erickson back in shotgun with the back line up to his left this time here on 2nd and 10. Erickson evading the rush. Runs it up the middle. Runs it to the near side, to the 10, to the 5. And he's going to be down just short of the goal line at the 1. Erickson with a 20-yard rush.
There it is. I mean, I've been waiting for them to do that all game. They've been setting it up. I mean, a lot of their runs, as you've noticed, he's holding it just a second longer. Every run, a lot of them have been an option for him to take it. And finally, on a play where the Titans send an all-out blitz, he takes it himself, gets that edge on the left side, and off to the races. Like you said, almost a touchdown. But a huge 1st and goal now for the Wildcats. Need about 2 yards to get another touchdown. And I think if they come out here, they had to go back to the early bell ringer this drive. I think we'll see Olberg maybe punch one in here.
1st and goal at the 1. And Erickson's going to go down. Olberg. And we'll see who falls on top of the ball. There was a lot going on after the snap. But I think Blue Springs comes up with the ball, so they catch a big break right there. They've already had the special teams miscue on their punt formation earlier.
Yeah, I mean, a turnover there,
In the interception, I
was about to say, yeah. They just had the turnover, a drive ago, and they're moving down here. I will say, this Wildcat offense has been working. They have been moving the ball every drive, but whether it's a holding call, whether it's just some sort of penalty or like an interception or almost a fumble in it away there. So just a team that's obviously extremely talented, just kind of trying to settle into their season a little bit. I would just keep a clean handoff here to Olberg and let him run it in for the touchdown.
2nd and goal at the 1-yard line. Erickson takes the snap and dropped in incomplete by Olberg.
Yeah, I mean, now you're facing a 3rd and goal. They had Olberg open, I'd say, but I don't know if he even would have scored if he would have caught that. I think he heard footsteps behind him, about to possibly get hit and unable to haul that one in. Kind of, you could see he was running to the end zone. I mean, eyes get big when you're this close to the getting a touchdown. Obviously, he was thinking about scoring more than he was thinking about catching the ball.
So 3rd and short, or 3rd and goal rather, at the 1 yard line. And on their previous drive, they tried to punch it in from the West 2 yard line, but then it resulted in an interception into the hands of Drew Garberger. 3rd and goal at the 1. Hand off to Olberg. And met in the backfield at the 5 yard line. It's a loss of 4 on 3rd and goal.
Yeah, what a stand by that Titans defense. I mean, they need 2 yards. They got 3 plays to do it. And they just put the hammer down there. I mean, great penetration right up the middle. Nowhere to go for Olberg. And they even brought in the fullback there. They brought out the heavy set to run that one in, and just nothing there. I will say one thing that was interesting to me. I mean, the fullback, he kind of runs off to the right. It looked like they maybe wanted to get that going more to the right, but Olberg went right up the middle, right into a linebacker. So maybe a miscommunication of where the ball was going there. But nonetheless, I believe they're probably going to, what do you think, field goal here, or are you going for it?
I mean, if you're Blue Springs, I would think you just kick the field goal and get the points with the first half about to come to a close. You'd like to go into the half with at least some points. It doesn't have to be 6. You know, you got to feel good about at least putting some points up on the board, and I think a field goal will certainly help out with that. But it's a big stop for the Lee Summit West defense. And
yeah, I would agree.
Unlike that first drive, I mean, there was a long touchdown there, but I mean, ever since they've been making stops left and right. They got a turnover, and they were able to get that fumble recovery, if you will, off that botched snap on the punt back at the 12-yard line. And
that's what they're going to do.
First.
They're going to kick the field goal, and I think that's the right call. 2-possession lead into halftime. Your defense is playing lights out. Just get the lead and run with it. Take your points.
Romero with a short field goal attempt. Here's the snap, the hold. The kick is up. Line drive kick through the uprights.
Yeah, right down the middle. Perfect. Perfect execution there. You know, both these teams have been having rough special teams, so it's nice to see one of these special teams units come up with a little bit of success. There's something to grow on into their next attempt.
1:11 left to go here in the first half, rather. I almost said first quarter. 10-0. The Wildcats lead it on the road against a Suburban Gold Conference foe in Lee Summit West. A conference matchup here in beautiful Lee Summit, Missouri, here to open up the 2025 season, and it's been an up and down first quarter. Lots of defense from both sides, and both offenses we've seen potential. I think Blue Springs has had more of a successful showing so far offensively. Lee Summit West, it's been a little sporadic, if you will. There's potential for some runs to open up at times, and you can see the quarterback run play with Edwards working out a little bit here and there. And also got to mention the play action pitch. They've done it twice to Harris and also
I think
Harrison Perkins, and it's worked out well.
I think his offense has just kind of been a little stagnant. Yeah, some good play designs, but not exactly executed 100% by the Titans. I think you need to get back to some bubble screens, some slip screens, keep the misdirection going, but don't do so much that you're outsmarting yourself. Let's just play a simple game. It's week 1. Don't overcomplicate it. But, yeah, I mean, you got a minute here, couple timeouts, possible to go get a touchdown here. And I think I'd like to see them take a shot to Harris downfield. He's got the speed to beat his man one-on-one, and Edwards, I'd like to think he's got the arm to get it to him. So take a shot here. See if you can get a huge momentum swing. I mean, you get a big touchdown here, you're right back in this game.
Cesar Romero boots this one away. Line drive kick. It'll go back out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. So the Titans will get the ball at their own 25-yard line. They'll get the ball at their own 20-yard line, so they'll have 80 yards of field to work with only 1:11 remaining on the scoreboard here in the first half. And the Lee Summit West offense, like we've talked about, sporadic at times. There's been potential, and I mentioned some of the plays that have worked out, and you mentioned it all comes down to execution. I think the play designs have looked good. You know, it's just a matter of, you know, just getting around those defenders and making your blocks and doing your necessary assignments on each play. Edwards with a quick throw out to the middle, caught.
Yeah,
at the 37.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Get it to your star player, taking a shot to him early, a huge gain, and then keep the momentum up. You got to go no huddle here as the clock will run just to about a minute now.
Only one timeout to work with here for Lee Summit West. Pass complete over the middle to Chris Harris. Edwards finds Harris again. Across midfield and down at the Wildcat 40-yard line for another first down.
Same play, no adjustment by the Wildcats linebackers or by the DBs in that slot. Just a quick crosser catching it right in the middle of the field. Harris is so quick out of his breaks to get open, and that's going to force the hand of Blue Springs to call a timeout. They got to adjust here. Can't let them just do that one more time to you.
So Lee Summit West pretty much get a free timeout here with 48.3 seconds remaining in the first half. Lee Summit West, they still have one timeout to work with. And they have the ball at the Wildcat 40-yard line after two quick connections from Edwards to Harris for long gains. And like you say, same play back-to-back. And we'll see if they go back to that play for a third time in a row. It's kind of like playing Madden. When you got one play that's working out for you offensively, you can never, turn away from it. So we'll see if they can go back to Harris again,
I would be shocked if they go to that same play one more time, especially out of the timeout.
Right.
I know that defensive coordinator's on the sideline like, guys, come on, know your assignments.
Right.
You can't let that receiver cross your face, and I watched it 2 times in a row. But like I said, Harris is so quick out of his stance to get open. He's got that quick release.
I think as we've watched this first half, I think when Edwards, gets the ball out quick, I think there's more opportunity for the offense to really make plays, because I think once you let Edwards, kind of sit in the pocket, the secondary and the middle linebackers are pretty much set after that. But Edwards will scramble out to the right side, and pass falls incomplete, intended for Harris. It was just too short.
Yeah, he had Harris open once again, one more time. Could have been on the 20-yard line, able to evade the initial pressure from that right end of the Wildcats. He got out of it, but I agree to your point. I think right now they're kind of in that 2-minute offense where they're staying in the hurry up, but, I think this offense has been more productive than any of their offenses. I think staying in kind of this know-how-to quick-paced offense is something they could really look into sticking with.
41.8 seconds remaining here in the first half. 2nd and 10 at the Wildcat 40. And a timeout's going to be called. I wonder who called the timeout. It's going to be Lee Summit West.
Yeah, so kind of surprised there. You get
right
the stop. The clock's not running. You can only stop the clock one more time and to burn your time out there. That is an interesting move by the Titans, but obviously they did not like that look at all. That's the only thing I would imagine is they were not going to let that ball get hiked because they were afraid of something horrible happening.
Well, for Lee Summit West now, with no more timeouts to work with, they're going to have to find a way to get out of bounds or get a quick quarterback spike to stop the clock. Something like that. That's what they're going to have to turn to now with no timeouts remaining. And, if they had 2 timeouts at this point, I guess it would make sense to use that timeout. But like to your point, which I didn't think of until you said it. Maybe there was something going on up front, and who knows? It could have easily resulted in a false start penalty or something silly.
Could have just been the lineup. They saw a blitz possibly coming. I mean, you got to think a sack there. You're going to have to waste the timeout anyways, and you just lost, 6-7 yards? So possibly avoiding a catastrophic event there. So
2nd and 10. Harrison motion. And he'll pitch it back to Edwards. Edwards finds Harris. Near side 30, 25. Goes out of bounds near the 20-yard line.
There's those trick plays. I got to get my hats off to this offensive coordinator for the Titans. This is week 1, and you're running week 6, week 7 plays there. I mean, like you said, it was a jet sweep, pitched back to the quarterback, a little screen play right to the Harris crossing all the way over. That defense had no clue where to go. Those linebackers were all out of place. DBs didn't know who they were covering anymore. Huge play there, but 33 seconds to go.
1st and 10 at the 30-yard line of the Wildcats. Edwards back to pass. Rolls out to his left. Heaves it into the end zone. Incomplete, in and out of the hands of the receiver.
Yeah, he had his man in the left corner of the end zone, but that was going to be a tight spiral to get that one in there. Just unable to thread the needle. I'm kind of surprised there. As he rolled out left, there wasn't a lot going on. I was surprised he didn't just kind of take off, pick up 10, and get out of bounds.
So it'll stop the clock at 26 seconds exact. So it'll be 2nd and 10. Once again at the Wildcat 30-yard line. Lee Summit West just looking to get some points on the board as both teams get ready to go into halftime here pretty soon. 3 split out wide to the left, 1 out to the right with the back lined up to Edwards' left. And Edwards going to scramble out to the right, and he's going to keep it himself and goes out of bounds near the 20. They're going to mark him out at the 23-yard line. There is a flag on the play. It'll be interesting to see what the flag is here, but if it's on Lee Summit West, obviously kind of hurts you a little bit. It's been a pretty good drive so far, rather the most impressive drive that we've seen from this Titan offense. And like you say, it's the 2-minute, offense that they're pretty much, showing out right now. And their 2-minute offense, looks pretty solid so far, but I think self-inflicted mistake's going to be called here on Lee Summit West.
Possibly on the Titans. And unfortunately, I'm not too confident in the field goal attempt from this range after what we saw earlier from the 10. I think that's a tough call for a coach to send the field goal unit back out there. I know 3 points here would be nice, would bring it back to a one-possession game, but not a lot of high school kickers able to hit it from this range.
So after the holding penalty, it'll push them back 10 yards. Back at the 35, it'll be 2nd and 20. Edwards pump fakes, rolls out to the left. Trying to evade a defender, gets it off, intercepted! Back at the 16-yard line. And a turnover for the Lee Summit West offense, as once again trying to go into the half with points on the board. And they're going to be held scoreless going into the half as Blue Springs comes up with a big-time interception here with just under 10 seconds remaining in the first half.
Yeah, I get that read, though. I mean, if you're Edwards, you're rolling out there, you're just trying to make anything happen, just trying to do too much there. I mean, that's simple. There wasn't anything there, but not a lot of time and a half. Take a shot, try to get some points up. I think one thing you can put a feather in your cap, though, that was a productive drive for them. A couple early shots there to their top receiver, getting some of their better players involved. Harris is what I'm talking about. So I think, in the next half you can build off that. And obviously I think Blue Springs is content, 10-0. They're going to take a knee into halftime. And West is just going to have to build off of that offensive drive and see if they can finish it if they had a little bit more time on the clock.
So the Wildcats will kneel it down, and that will end the action here in the first half as the Wildcats of Blue Springs going into the half up by 10 here on the road against the Lee Summit West Titans. 10-0, the Blue Springs Wildcats lead it here over the Titans as we enter halftime here at Lee Summit West High School. In the meantime, though, we'll go ahead and step aside for our halftime intermission, so feel free to step aside and do whatever you need to do, and we will be back on the air here in about 15 minutes here between the Wildcats and the Titans. You're watching Missouri High School football on A10Varsity.com.
That's what I'm looking for.
And we welcome you back live in Lee Summit, Missouri, as we get ready for second half action here between the 16th ranked Blue Springs Wildcats and the Lee Summit West Titans, as the Wildcats here lead it 10-0 before we get ready for second half action. I'm Austin, alongside with me is Cade, and it's been an up and down football game, but Cade, just talk to me a little bit about what you've seen in the first half so far, and what can the fans expect to see in the second half for both sides?
Yeah, I mean, it's a close game, only 10-0. A lot of opportunities still for either of these teams, either for the Wildcats to grow the lead, for the Titans to get right back into this game. You know, for the Titans, I think a couple of stalled out drives. We talked about it on that last drive, that kind of upbeat offense, and them getting the ball first to start the game is going to play into that. I'd like to see them get going quicker again, getting the ball out in any way they can to Harris, because obviously they're going to win or lose this game on the back of Harris. That's been their star guy. That's been the guy able to get open and bring in good catches. On the flip side of that, for the Wildcats, I'd like to see them to get back to that slot receiver Baker. He's got one catch on the whole night for a 40-yard touchdown. I mean, on that play, he looked explosive. I think whether it's a design bubble screen, slip screen, just do something to get the ball into your skilled positions players' hands. So I'd like to see them settle in. And for both these offensive lines, they both are going to need to play a little bit better in the second half, because the pressure was definitely there for both teams in the first half.
Cesar Romero getting ready to kick it away to the Titans of Lee Summit West. Here on a beautiful Friday evening here in the Kansas City area, as Romero boots this one away. It'll be fielded back at the goal line, and the Titans will bring it out. And Harris is going to bounce outside to the 20-yard line. He's past the 30, and they're going to mark him out of bounds back at the 25, as he appeared to step out of bounds right around that area. So the Lee Summit West Titans will go to work to start things off here in the second half at their own 25. So they'll have 75 yards of field to work with. Looking to get their first points of the day.
Yeah, and I think too early in this drive, just no penalties. Let's not do something silly to start the second half off to shoot yourself in the foot. I mean, we talked about it. Both teams had their handful of penalties. So I'd really like to see a clean drive here from the Titans. No mental errors, no mental mistakes. Just keep the ball moving down the field. And like I said, I'd love to see them get back into some kind of hurry-up, no-huddle look.
And we saw that 2-minute offense working pretty well for Lee Summit West until the interception that ended the first half inevitably. And another interception! Thrown over the middle and intercepted back at the 38-yard line. So to open up the second half, Edwards tosses his second interception of the evening.
Yeah, Corey Mayfield playing safety there. Another one of their two-way players. He's had a handful of carries on offense. And then this time around, he's the one jumping it as a D-back, grabbing the interception. So really impressive start for Blue Springs. On the flip side of that, not what you want if you're a Titans fan. Edwards ended last half with an interception, starts this half with an interception. Long game, still some time to turn it around, but going to have to be a little bit cleaner with that football.
Well, Blue Springs so far, they're winning the turnover battle, and obviously that'll help you out a lot, especially when you're playing on the road. First and 10 at the 36-yard line of the Titans. And a lob pass, incomplete. No one's there home on the pass play from Erickson. It'll be second and 10.
Yeah, complete miscommunication there between him and Staley. I think Erickson thought he was running to go. He ran an in, and then there you get a complete overthrow, miscommunication. Second and 10, no harm, no foul, just a loss of down. And then for Erickson here, you know, his scrambling ability, a couple times he was able to evade some pressure and roll out. I would like to see a little bit more design runs with him. He had that one quarterback keeper for about 20 yards.
Two receivers split out wide on both sides. It's a handoff play up the middle and a hard tackle at the 35 as Ohnberg will get all the way up to the 35 for only a gain of 1, so it'll bring up 3rd and 9 here for the Wildcats.
Yeah, huge tackle there for the Titans defense. You know, after the big turnover, now facing a 3rd and 9, the Titans can get the ball right back to their offense.
Erickson lining up all by himself in shotgun. 2 out wide to the left, 3 out to the right. 3rd and 9 at the 35. Erickson loads up, fires over the middle, caught. Oh, it's dropped and incomplete. Really good coverage right there by the Lee Summit West secondary, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, that's Panto, the safety. So a huge play by him earlier, and now another one there. Just perfect timing with that hit. Like you said, you thought it was a catch. He had it haul it in, but the hit jars the ball out. And now a massive 4th down for the Wildcats. But it does look like they might be going for it here.
Or perhaps maybe a quarterback punt to try and pin the Titans deep in their own territory. We'll see what they do here on 4th and 9 with 11:01 to go in the third. Erickson back to pass on 4th down. Caught near side, right around the 25.
Yeah,
and it's going to be enough for the first.
Sideline catch there by Staley.
Devin Staley coming down with a nice catch.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick break route there, run upfield, put a hard stop into the ground, and then turn back and hit you right on the numbers. Perfect timing there between Staley and Erickson. Can't run that route any better.
Boy, Erickson, though, looked really calm in the pocket and didn't look worried or anything with a really nice throw to Staley. On 4th and 9 here to open up the second half.
Yeah, big miscue there by that Titans defense, almost forcing the turnover on downs, erasing the interception.
Play action, lob pass near side. Staley, is he out of bounds? They're going to rule it incomplete. Staley caught the ball, came down with a catch, but didn't have his feet in bounds to bring up 2nd and 10. 10:50 remaining here in the third quarter with a 10-0 lead for the Blue Springs Wildcats as they look to add on to their 10-point lead after getting the quick interception to open up the second half.
Right there, smart play by Blue Springs. I like it. A quick go route, one-on-one. Take your opportunity. You just got the big 4th down conversion. Let's try to go for it all, running that press coverage on the...
And Olberg's going to get the call. Gets all the way up to the 25, so he'll only get a gain of 1 on 2nd down. It'll bring up 3rd and 9. You can see the Titans defense applying a lot of pressure up front. They seem to be getting around that front line for Blue Springs. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Edwards has thrown 3 interceptions this game. It's been a lot of turnovers by this Titans offense. The defense has been on the field a lot tonight, and it's still only 10-0. So this Titans defense looking to step up one more time.
2 receivers out on both sides. Erickson lines up in the pistol. Oberg's going to motion. Takes the snap on 3rd and 10. Caught at the 12-yard line to the 5. Extends to the goal line. He is just short. Down at the 1-yard line. And the connection on that pass play to Zay Height. Who else? He's been making plays left and right for this Wildcat offense. 1st and goal at the 1-yard line.
Let's not forget the defensive presence been there for him too. A handful of tackles playing DB for the Wildcats. But yeah, great play there. Just patient in the pocket there by Erickson. Finding his open receiver, just set down in between those 2 zone coverage, kind of splitting them.
1st and goal at the 1-yard line. Erickson takes the snap, hands it off to Olberg, up the middle. He's just short. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 1-yard line. Once again, a gain of nothing.
Let's not forget earlier in the game, they had a big stand here on the goal line. They're going to hurry it up. It's a quarterback sneak.
And does Erickson get across the goal line? The official says yes. Touchdown Wildcats. Wyatt Erickson on the 1-yard quarterback keeper. And the QB sneak is successful as the Wildcats add on 6 with the extra point on the way.
Yeah, and I like it there, that kind of hurrying things up, caught the Titans defense on their heels, not ready for the play there. And then Erickson just kind of walks in right up the middle. Good job by that offensive line up front, getting a good push and creating the lane for him to fit right through.
And the extra point is up and through the uprights to make the score 17-0 Blue Springs.
Yeah, right down the middle there. He's been true. And that's something to remember. He's got the field goal and 2 extra points, the kicker for the Wildcats. Having a sharp game tonight. We saw him warming up during halftime. He has some distance on him, so that's something to keep in their pocket there, attempting a long field goal later in this game if they need to.
We'll go ahead and step aside for a brief commercial break after the 1-yard touchdown run from Wyatt Erickson to make the score Blue Springs 17, Lee Summit West nothing. You are watching Missouri High School football right here on A10varsity.com. We'll be right back.
Tiki taco, tiki taco. Tacos, burritos, nachos, and bowls. Fresh frozen drinks, ice cold beer, and desserts. Tiki taco, tiki taco.
And we welcome you back right here on A10varsity.com. A 1-yard touchdown run on the QB sneak from Wyatt Erickson makes the score. Blue Springs 17, Lee Summit West nothing. And Romero kicks this one away. And this one will go out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And the Titans offense once again will go to work at the 20-yard line. They started off the second half with a costly interception. And really, if you go back to that play, from what I remember, there was no receiver home where the pass was thrown. Either that or it was just too short. Some miscommunication, if you will, it appeared on that play. But
Yeah, he had a receiver downfield, but we're talking about 10, 15 yards downfield. So I don't know if that's exactly who he was trying to throw it to on a deep pass. I know he was definitely under some pressure there, but, you know, just a mental error. Week 1, you're going to have a few of those. So hopefully he gets this out of the way. Still only 17-0.
9:05 to go here in the third. And a whistle before the snap, and it's going to be a false start on the Titans offense.
Yeah, I think it was that right side of the line. I think it's going to go on Barnett, the right tackle. Kind of a quick move there.
And if you look at this Lee Summit West front line, it's a little bit young. They've got 2 seniors, 2 sophomores, and just a junior. And like you say, that holding call will, or that false start call rather, not holding, it'll push them back a few yards.
Yeah, Brock, the sophomore left tackle, actually started last year as a freshman. So this isn't his first year on the varsity level. He had some reps last year.
Handoff play up the middle to Rollison will get him all the way up to the 20-yard line for a gain of 5. It'll bring up 2nd and 10, so they go right back to the spot where they originally started the drive. So again, it'll be 2nd and 10.
We mentioned it earlier, that loss at running back of Alexander Duncan, and so far in this one, the run game has just not been as efficient as it was a year ago. So something they're definitely going to need to get going here in the second half is that ability just to run the ball. It can't be so one-dimensional.
And Harris is going to take the direct snap. Almost went over his head. He's just going to keep it himself to the left side. Bouncing around at the 20, and I don't think he got anything on that play. He might have lost a yard or 2. But they go right back to Harris on the direct snap. It's not the only time that we've seen Harris take the direct snap. And like you say, you know, they're calling plays that normally in weeks 6 or 7 they would be calling, but they're already doing it here in week 1. But
yeah, they're running a lot of trick plays, but I'll tell you exactly what happened there. That's a tough break for the center, you know. Honey, he's been snapping to a 6'5", 6'6" quarterback all night long, and then you get the 6-foot receiver gets in there, and it's a high snap. That's not surprising. He's totally changing how he's snapping it. That's just something that's going to take practice to get that down.
8:25 in the third. 3rd and 10. Edwards, play action. Fires one over the middle for Harris, and he comes down with the catch. Down at the Blue Springs 40-yard line. What a throw by Edwards, and he connects with Harris on the long pass play.
Yeah, a lot of turnover at that receiver position for this Titans offense, but Harris is the consistent. He's still here from a year ago, and they're going to hurry things up. But that connection between Edwards and Harris is very noticeable.
2 split out wide to the right, 1 out to the left. Edwards going to hand it off. And he's still on his feet. Gets pushed out of bounds right around the 30-yard line. And Rollison again gets the call. All the way up to the 30-yard line is where he'll get pushed out of bounds, and it'll be enough for another Titan first down.
Yeah, the Titans need to keep moving here quick. I think this quick pace is where they're finding this Wildcats defense. It's week 1. They're not able to get set.
Another handoff play to Rollison. Gets all the way up to the 22 for a good gain there, a gain of 7 yards. It'll be 2nd and short, make it 2nd and 3. They're just outside the red zone with only 3 more yards to get there. Edwards in the pistol, low snap, and Rollison's going to pick it up and keep it himself. At the 25, he'll get tackled right around the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, good heads-up play there by him. I mean, that could have been a loss of 3 or 4, able to get on that low snap and run it.
So the low snap. Oh, we got a injury timeout on the field as a Titans player is down, as the trainers will come out onto the field to take a look at the injured player. We'll go ahead and step aside for an injury timeout. 17-0, Blue Springs leads it here with 7:29 left to go here in the third quarter. We'll be right back.
My name is Bree McNally. I am actually a server downtown at Grunauer. Our 15-year-old son was in an automobile accident and he was taken by ambulance to Children's Mercy Hospital. So when I called Eric, he just, was upfront about everything, let me know what the process would be. So Eric was easy to communicate with. I could Facebook Messenger him, call the office, text him, and he was always super responsive and handled everything in a timely manner.
Tacos, burritos, nachos and bowls, fresh frozen drinks, ice cold beer and desserts. Tiki taco, tiki taco.
And we welcome you back here on A10varsity.com as we had an injury timeout. Myrick Rollison down with the injury, but he was helped up to his feet by the athletic trainers and was able to walk off the field on his own power. So a good sight to see. But hopefully Rollison will be okay. So he took a hard hit after that last play. But
Looks
we'll
like
resume play.
Lyles is going to check in at halfback now for the Titans.
3rd and 4. And Edwards going to keep it himself and gets to the 23, and it won't be enough for the first.
Yeah, it looked like a possible speed option there. I think he had the initial handoff to the running back, didn't take it. Then he had the receiver crossing on the jet sweep, and I think he should have gave it to Harris because Harris was standing wide open on the right side line after the Edwards got taken down after a gain of maybe 1.
Down by 3 possessions, almost midway here through the third quarter. Lee Summit West is going to go for it here on 4th and 4. At the Wildcat 23. Edwards rolling out to his right. And it's caught at the 15. And it's enough for a Titan first down. Live Byers on the reception.
Yeah, a little bootleg action there for the Titans. Get Edwards out of that pocket, get him rolling out right. Good job by that offensive line to block to the right and allow him to roll out. He had 2 options there. He had Harris underneath, but he looked a little bit further to Byers, and a great snag by Byers.
So it'll be 1st and 10 here for the Titans. And Edwards going to keep it himself up the middle. Bouncing it to the right side, past the 10, to the 5. He's going to go down right around the 5-yard line, out of bounds on the near side. And a light flag is thrown after the play. We'll see what the flag's for. It was a light flag, too. Not only, it was probably 5 seconds after Edwards got back up after he tripped out of bounds.
Yep. Possible unsportsmanlike or just a late penalty. See what the officials call here.
And it looks like it's going to be on Lee Summit West, as you can
Tough
see them
break.
kind of moving back a little bit. And it's going to be a just a tough one there for Lee Summit West. It looked like the referee motioned a personal foul penalty, so might have been an extracurricular activity.
That's what I was afraid of. Something that late, that's kind of the territory you're looking at, and that's exactly what it was. So, you cannot have those mental errors when you're down 17-0. You only got 6 minutes left here in the third quarter. You got to get some points. You should have been on the 2-yard line, and now we're going to see where they'll line up after a costly penalty. Yeah, and they're going to start backing them up quite a ways here. What a run there, though, by Edwards. I mean, I don't know if that was a designed quarterback run. I would say it probably was, but, I mean, he just runs with so much power. I know he's had a rough night tonight, but obviously finding the end zone here, you're cutting it back to a two-possession game, and you just got to rely on your defense to continue to play as well as they have. That Titans defense has been on the field a lot tonight, and to hold this explosive Wildcats offense to only 17 points is something to definitely hang your hat on thus far in the game.
So the personal foul penalty pushes the Wildcats all the way back to the 20-yard line. And Edwards is going to motion out, and Edwards is going to get the handoff. He's going to roll out to his left, fires the pass, and it's caught on the far side, out of bounds at the 7. And I thought it was first and long with the penalty. At least I thought it was, but it looks like it's going to be first and goal here for the Titans.
Yes. Yeah, so that first and goal, that's a rough break, too, on that. But they pretty much got most of those penalty yards back in one play. You can't ask more than that. And continuing with some of that trickery in the backfield, they came out. Edwards motions out right, goes into the Wildcat. They give it back to Edwards on the bootleg. Still was a toss behind the line of scrimmage, so he can still throw that pass forward. That's exactly what he does and gets all those penalty yards right back.
6:04 remaining here in the third quarter as Lee Summit West is looking to punch it in for the first score of the evening for them. Here's Harris at the 5, pushed out of bounds at the 3. Almost got to the goal line. As you can see, he tried to extend his arms to the goal line there, but was pushed out of bounds right at the right time, so it'll be second and goal here. They don't have a whole lot of yards to get to the end zone.
And a scary sign here for Titans fans as that star player, Chris Harris, is limping off the sideline. Took a big hit there. I hope he's okay, a little shooken up.
Yeah, so the trainers are attending to Harris on the sideline. So you can see him trying to nurse his leg there. It might have been a cramp. You could, with how muggy and hot it's been lately, could be the case. Here's Edwards on the quarterback keeper. Gets tackled at the 4. Nowhere to go for Edwards. It'll be third and goal.
Yeah, Edwards a little bit too patient there. I know he wanted to think about possibly handing it off, but I think when you're this close and you're that big, just pull that thing, lower those shoulders, and just run through a guy. I mean, there's not very many people on this field that are going to be able to tackle you one-on-one. You get no downhill momentum as a defender when you're on your own 3-yard line. So Edwards, I think he just got to trust in himself to run through somebody, but he's visibly winded. This has been a long drive for these Titans, but third and goal here, and honestly, you need this touchdown.
I was about to say, this is arguably one of the biggest plays of the game here for Lee Summit West. Down 17-0 here on opening night. Edwards. End zone. Incomplete. Over the head of his intended receiver. Tried to connect with Life Byers on the near corner of the end zone, but there might be a flag on the play, as I might have heard over the loudspeakers that a flag was thrown. Did not see the flag thrown after the end of that play.
Byers had a big catch earlier in this drive. That time there's just a little bit of miscommunications. It looked like, he just wanted on a quick maybe run and go and then stop, plant that foot in the ground and cut back, but he was working to the corner of the end zone, passed way offline.
So I think they're just going to rule the pass incomplete. It'll be fourth and goal at the 3-yard line. 5:14 remaining. Edwards taking the snap and fires it all alone. Touchdown, Lee Summit West. How about that? Dawson Edwards rolling it out to his right, and no one was there home defensively for Blue Springs, and he connects with Rondrick Sims on the far side of the end zone, and the Titans are on the board.
Just perfect play design there by the Titans. I mean, you've rolled out right a few times today, but you've never thrown back across your body. That time, that's exactly what Edwards does, and he's got Sims uncovered, wide open, easy touchdown.
And it's blocked. And they're just going to rule the play dead as the extra point is blocked by Blue Springs. So after they give up that fourth and goal conversion there for 6, Blue Springs, however, they do get something good to take away from that defensive, show in there with a blocked PAT.
Yeah.
But Lee Summit West, finally, they get on the board, and they aren't held scoreless like they were last year. So
yeah, I mean,
they're on the board.
17-6, it's still a chance, but it is definitely frustrating for the Titans for that special teams unit tonight. I mean, you got to think they had the field goal. There was a chip shot earlier. They miss it. I think it maybe a mishandled snap, something not completely right there. So you missed that field goal. That would have been 3 points for you. So that would have made it 9-17 if you make that field goal. And then right here, that time a low kick gets tipped, blocked, and that's 4 points off the board. This could be a one-score game if that special teams unit, but it's high school football and it's week one. These things are going to happen. You got to build on them. You got to clean them up. And that's just something that this team's just going to have to do. And I know Coach Horn is definitely going to be putting an emphasis at practice this week on cleaning up that special teams.
5:08 left to go here in the third quarter. Lee Summit West finally getting on the scoreboard here in the third quarter as Dawson Edwards connects with Roderick Sims on 4th and goal for a 3-yard touchdown pass. The extra point, however, was blocked, so that leaves our score at 17-6.
So this is going to be a big drive for this Titans defense. This happened a lot last year. This defense would stonewall offenses in the first half, but they would be on the field so much from the lack of offense. By the time they needed to get another stop, they're just gassed. They got nothing left in the tank to get these stops. So how much energy does this defense bring out on this drive here after the score, build on this momentum, get the stop? You cannot let them march right down the field and let the Wildcats score. You got to keep this game close.
And Brenton kicks this one away. It'll be fielded back behind the 5-yard line. Pretty good return all the way up to the 30-yard line. So 70 yards of field to work with here for Blue Springs on their next drive.
Yeah, and I think on the Blue Springs side of things here, I just keep it smart, keep it simple. Run the ball, quick dump-offs. Don't do any mistakes that's going to give the Titans great field position here. Don't throw a risky pass. Don't throw a jump ball. Let's just keep it smart, move the ball. I mean, you take some time off the clock. We talked about that field goal kicker's got a nice leg. You kick a field goal, you go up 20-6 going into the fourth quarter, you can just try to run this thing out. So let's just play it smart here. Don't do anything that's going to overly cost you.
So Wyatt Erickson and the Wildcat offense will go right back to work with a 1st and 10 at their own 30. And Erickson's going to keep it himself. Gets only a gain of 1.
Yeah, not a very positive run there, but one thing it does do is it starts that clock. The clock starts running down to 4:50 now to go here in the third quarter. But earlier in the game, I said, we watched Erickson keep the ball and get a big gain. That time, the Titans were ready for it and stopped him right where he got going.
So a gain of 1 from Wyatt Erickson on the quarterback keeper. 2nd and 9 at the 31 of Blue Springs. Erickson trying to look for an open receiver. He's going to go down in the backfield. Sacked back at the 27-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and long.
Yeah, just a complete miscommunication up front by that Wildcats offensive line. And it's only a 4 front. They got 2 guys on the left side, and for some reason, the tackle's left to block both of them. He's just left out there in no man's land. He picks the inside or the outside guy. Probably should have picked the inside guy. Might have bought his quarterback an extra second, but I think a sack's going to happen there either way. Just you got to communicate up front. You got to call who you're blocking, so avoid costly mistakes like that. Now 3rd and 13.
3rd and long here for the Wildcats. Erickson in the shotgun formation with a back line up to his left. 3 split out wide to the left, 1 out to the right. Erickson, the blitz is coming right at his face, and he's going to hob that one up. Oh, there's going to be a late flag thrown. It might be pass interference on Lee Summit West.
Yeah, that is a costly mistake and a costly call there. You get the official, you got to be really confident in that. All-out blitz by the Titans. They send all their linebackers a little Mike blitz. They get home quick, force Erickson to throw it. Terrible offline pass, and they're going to call it, pass interference for sure. He's double covered down the sideline, and I don't really think that was much of a catchable pass, if you ask me, but a really crucial call there.
And you can see the fans in front of us very displeased with that call.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it's week 1 for the officials too, but that is definitely a tough break for this Titans. You think you get that quick stop, you come out there, and I talked about it. They did bring the momentum. Blitzes, pressure, get the sack in the quarterback's face again. But, a penalty downfield on the pass interference, it's an automatic 1st down, 1st and 10, up to about the 42-yard line now for the Wildcats.
And like you say, it's week 1, so there's going to be hiccups pretty much everywhere when it comes to both teams and really just the flow of the game. Quick slant play over the middle. He's down the middle of the field at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Blue Springs. Another long pass play results in 6. It's the 2nd touchdown pass of the evening for Wyatt Erickson. Zay Height
Yeah,
on the receiving end of that touchdown. And like you say, he's been making plays all over the field, both offensively and defensively. This time he goes into the end zone for 6. Second touchdown pass of the night for Erickson.
That play looked oddly familiar to what the Titans have been doing. You know, into that second half, those quick slants, just get the ball out quick. You know, if you're going to send pressure, I'm going to get the ball out quicker than you can get home. It's exactly what they did there, and Height wide open, catches it, and he's got speed to burn all the way down the middle of the field and walking into the end zone. And I mean, we got to go back. A pass interference call on 3rd and 13. Of course the next play's a touchdown. Why wouldn't it be?
Well, Blue Springs, like you say, they capitalize on that pass interference play. And a long touchdown pass from Wyatt Erickson to Zay Height to make the score 24-6. We'll go ahead and step aside for a brief commercial break. We're here in the third quarter with 3:32 remaining here in the third. Lee Summit West will get the ball back right after this short commercial break. You are watching Missouri High School football on A10varsity.com.
My name is Bree McNally. I am actually a server downtown at Grunauer.
Whoa.
Our 15-year-old son was in an automobile accident, and he was taken by ambulance to Children's Mercy Hospital. So when I called Eric, he just, was upfront about everything, let me know what the process would be. So Eric was easy to communicate with. I could Facebook Messenger him, call the office, text him, and he was always super responsive and handled everything in a timely manner.
And we welcome you back to our live coverage of Missouri High School football right here on A10varsity.com with the 16th ranked Blue Springs Wildcats coming on the road to take on the Lee Summit West Titans for the 2025 season opener. And Zay Height getting into the end zone from a long pass play from Wyatt Erickson to make the score 24-6. Ball bounces out of the back of the end zone for another touchback. And the Titans will go back to work on offense at their own 20. So if you go back to the previous, or what just happened here for Blue Springs, essentially what led up to the touchdown was that pass interference penalty that we were talking about momentarily, and then just, it seems like the Blue Springs offense is, it seems like, their chemistry is really showing so far, and obviously, both teams haven't gotten off to the fastest start. You saw Blue Springs getting that quick touchdown, though. But it's just been a little sporadic here for both teams. But it seems as though if the Blue Springs offense, though, is some sort of a groove, and they know what's working and not working, and they've shown that so far. Quick pass out to the near side, and he'll get tackled at the 30. We'll see if it'll be enough for the first down. I think he'll just be a yard short.
Yeah, I think the Titans just obviously are going to need to speed things up here. Couple of crucial injuries for them. I don't see Harris back on the field still. Obviously, he got hurt, Chris Harris, a second ago, and then Rawlinson earlier, the starting running back. So some key injuries to this West offense.
Quick dump-off pass over the middle, and it's caught. Gets tackled at the 35.5-yard line as Edwards tried to extend the play and was able to connect with Life Byers. And we have an injured player on the field here for Blue Springs. With 2:57 remaining here in the third quarter, we'll go ahead and step aside for a brief commercial break with an injury timeout on the field. We'll be right back.
Tiki taco, tiki taco. Tacos, burritos, nachos, and bowls. Fresh frozen drinks, ice cold beer, and desserts. Tiki taco, tiki taco.
And we welcome you back to our live coverage of Missouri High School football right here on A10varsity.com as we get set to resume play here with 2 minutes and 57 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. 24-6, the Wildcats lead it here over the Titans. And another quick pass play over to Byers. And a late flag is thrown, and I think Blue Springs is going to get called for unnecessary roughness, or rather a late hit, as you saw the late extracurricular activity going on after
Yeah,
the
I mean,
end
right
of the
there,
play.
Titans go right back to what they just did a second ago. I mean, the Wildcat, they're playing off. They're giving up a little bit of yardage, and the Titans are just going to take what you give them. 5 yards here, 5 yards there, just trying to get positive yards. Byers gets it, but there, yeah, you can't finish through that tackle. The whistle's blown. There's no reason to drive them down. So definitely going to go against the Wildcats. An easy call there for the officials.
So the personal foul penalty after the end of that play will push the Titans up the field quite a bit. They're going to put the ball down on the right hash at the Blue Springs 45. So after the personal foul penalty, Titans will have excellent field position here on 1st and 10. 2 split out wide to the left, 1 out to the right. Edwards in the gun, pump fakes. Scrambling to his left, evades the rush, scrambles back to the near side, and incomplete. As he tried to look for Roderick Sims, the guy who caught that 3-yard touchdown pass on 4th and goal, and it was, going back to that play. I mean, that was beautifully designed.
Yeah,
It fooled the entire Blue Springs defense to make them shift all the way from the right-hand side, and there was just nobody there home on the left-hand
I like
side.
that
of the
last
end zone.
play from the Titans. I know it's nothing happened there, but if you watch, I mean, Edwards dump off the Byers. This time he sells the hard pump fake to Byers. Byers works upfield, but the safety for the Wildcats was heads up play to run deep and not give up the deep ball they were trying to open up there. And then obviously nothing else there for the Titans, and that looks like a false start.
And another false start for the Titans offense here late in the third quarter with 2:26 exactly remaining in the third. It's actually going to be offside on Blue Springs. We initially thought it was false start. One thing I do want to point out, Chris Harris is back in the game for Lee Summit West. Obviously, you
Good to see that.
have to feel good about that if you're a Lee Summit West fan.
And I think you hit it on the head earlier. I think it's just cramping, week one, a little dehydrated, especially it is muggy out here at Titan Stadium.
Yeah, and we were talking about that quite a bit here before we kick things off here in Lee Summit, Missouri. It's a beautiful Friday night, as Edwards will keep it himself up the middle, gets past the 40, and they'll mark him down at the 38.
Yeah, Edwards is just taking a punishment in this game, a beating on some of those draws. He's keeping it himself, but that interior of this Blue Springs defense is just not really letting him go anywhere. He had 1 or 2 he's got more than probably 5 yards on, but most of these they have just been stopped right from the line of scrimmage.
It'll be 3rd and short at the 38-yard line of the Wildcats. Handoff play to the left side, and he's going to get tackled in the backfield, and the ball comes out. And Lee Summit West will fall right on top of it at the 46.
Yeah, I think he was down before that ball came out, so that'll erase the fumble, but still not a very positive run for the Titans. And now a 4th down and 6, and they got to go for it at this point. I feel like punting this away, it's not going to help. You're down 24-6. You need to get points, so this is definitely a game-deciding play at this point.
Myrick Rollison back in the game, as you saw there, as he took that carry on that previous play, but he's going to check out on 4th and 6 at the Blue Springs 41. 3 receivers out to the left, 1 out to the right. Edwards met with some pressure. He's going to go down back at the 47-yard line of Lee Summit West. And it's a turnover on downs.
Yeah, great blitz there by the Wildcats. I mean, it's 4th down. They needed some extra yards. It's not just a short yardage play here. They're going to be looking downfield, send the pressure. Don't let Edwards have any time in the pocket to even read a defense. And they executed that perfectly. Nowhere to go. He goes down hard. Turnover on downs, and now the Wildcats are going to try to just finish this clean, and they could be walking out of here 1-0.
51.7 seconds remain here in the third quarter as the Wildcats of Blue Springs ranked 16th in the A-10 varsity top 25 rankings going into the 2025 season. Up 24-6, and just got a stop on 4th and 6 as Dawson Edwards was sacked all the way back at the 47-yard line, it appeared, but they're going to mark the ball down at midfield. Erickson drops the snap. He'll pick it right back up and fires it on over to Olberg, and he's going to get tackled right around the 48 as he tried to fight for extra yardage.
Great recovery there by Erickson. If you saw it was a low snap that he actually bobbled, able to pick it back up and find his running back, Olberg, and then Olberg did the rest. I mean, talk about not wanting to go down. He broke a couple of tackles there, only gained 2 yards, but could have lost a lot there. The Titans sent a blitzing DB off the right side, came in unnoticed. Almost would have had a big hit if Erickson did not get the ball out quickly.
Well, there's a 1-second difference between the play clock and the game clock, and the game clock is a second ahead of the play clock. So they're going to let this one wind down. We're down to 5 seconds, down to 4, 3, 2, and 1. That'll end the third quarter here at Lee Summit West High School as the Wildcats of Blue Springs lead it here 24-6. And when we come back, it'll be 2nd down and 8 at the Lee Summit West 48-yard line for the Blue Springs offense. You're watching Missouri High School football right here on A10Varsity.com. We'll be right back.
Let's take a quick look around at some of these important games you fans out there might not be tuning into. Looking on MaxPrex here, or 810varsity.com scores. So, starting out with Rockers at St. Pius. Rockers is up 35-7, so Rockers looking like they're going to get a Week 1 win there. Liberty, Lee Summit. Lee Summit is down 13-14 against Liberty, so a 1-point game, still anybody's game, third quarter there as well.
So we're going to resume play as we open up the fourth quarter. It's a wide receiver screen play, and he's going to get past the line of scrimmage and all the way up to the 46.
Keeping this going, Blue Springs, like we said right here, you're watching it, 24-6 over these Titans. Just trying to get back into it. Park Hill up 26-7 on Rockbridge. And Ray-Pec High School trailing right now 24-6 against Lee Summit North, one of the top teams here in the state of Missouri.
Yeah, one thing to point out about Lee Summit West, they're without their head coach for the first 3 games of the season. So it'll be interesting to see how Lee Summit West does to start the season without their head coach for the first 3 games. It'll be 3rd and 6 as Erickson will take the snap. And he's going to get tackled down at the 49-yard line for another sack for the Titans defense.
It's about all the games we're going to look at. But, yeah, some interesting scores there. Quite a few blowouts here in Week 1 as we are kind of witnessing one here. Not quite a blowout, but a score here might about end this one for the Titans tonight. Not the offensive performance they wanted, but it's Week 1, a lot to grow on. We talked about it last year, 37-0, right now 24-6, and they've left a handful of points on the board, special teams-wise, that they would like to get back in following weeks.
Well, it looks like Blue Springs is going to go for it here on 4th and 8. Erickson back to pass. He's got time in the pocket with the defender running right at him. Evades the rush, trying to get around a couple of defenders and goes down for another sack. And it'll be a turnover on downs as Erickson goes down for the sack back at the Lee Summit West 48-yard line.
Interesting play call there by Blue Springs. I mean, you're up 24-6. You have a good punt there. You could be pinning them back a long ways to go, and instead you're giving them the ball at midfield. I mean, just uber confidence by this coach and his defense.
Well, if you go back to how the game started, you saw the punt team with that miscue that put the Titans in really good field position. You know, they didn't come away with any points, but I think after that they were just like, let's just not punt at all for the rest of the game. Since, you know, if that's going to continue, then we might as well just go for it on every 4th down, which is why I think Blue Springs decided to go for it right there.
Yeah, both teams obviously they're going to be practicing special teams a lot. And I think that's something that can get overlooked in those early weeks before the year gets going.
Edwards rolling out to his right. He's going to go down for another sack.
Yeah, Edwards gets driven down hard by Johnson there for the Wildcats. I mean, just came screaming off the edge. I think they're trying to run the bootleg to the right. Edwards gets out there, and no one blocked him. The DN comes through untouched and just slams Edwards down hard. He's going to be filling that one tomorrow at walkthrough.
2 receivers split out wide on both sides. Edwards in the pistol. 2nd and long, handoff play to the right side. And he'll get all the way up to the 46. And now it'll be 3rd and long here for Lee Summit West. And once again, got to find a way to put some points on the board. You don't have much time left to work with. Under 10 minutes to go in this game. 3rd and long, make it 3rd and 16.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Titans. Don't need to get it all back here, but you'd like to get a good chunk of it. You're obviously going to go for it on 4th down. Maybe something quick. Try to pick up 5 or 6 yards.
Play action from Edwards. And almost intercepted again, but incomplete. In and out of the hands of Alonzo Franklin on the near side. And Lee Summit West is going to have to punt the ball away.
Yeah, Franklin probably should have came down to that one. He's definitely a little frustrated, but once again, a miscue by the Titans, an incompletion. Should have been probably another interception on this night, but an interesting call here. 4th and 16, down 24-6. Titans are electing to punt this one away.
8:55 remaining in this game. Blue Springs up 24-6 on the road in a Suburban Gold Conference matchup to open up the 2025 season. And a really good punt here for Lee Summit West as the ball will take a Titan bounce down to the 5-yard line. It's probably where they're going to mark it, and that's exactly where they'll mark the punt. So a good punt there for Lee Summit West. And Blue Springs will have to go 95 yards to reach the end zone here.
Yeah, Aiden Nooch,
early
the punter
in the 4th.
there. What a punt. I mean, perfectly rolls that one down within the 10. So now I guess on the flip side of this, if you're the Titans, I mean, you got to be sending some pressure here. You back them up, maybe get a possible safety or turnover down here, flip the field on them, and that's kind of something you've got to be looking for.
Well, if you're Lee Summit West, I mean, to your point there, try and keep Blue Springs on their side of the field and don't let them get past midfield. And maybe you got a chance to come up with some stops or, like you say, get a safety, maybe an interception. All those things could be in play here with 8:43 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Erickson takes the snap on 1st and 10. A handoff play to the left side. Gets all the way up past the 5 to the 6. Just only a gain of 1. Dante Omer only with a gain of 1, so it'll bring up 2nd and 9.
Yeah, I think Blue Springs here just keep the ball on the ground, run that time down. They're going to take every second off this game clock before they hike it.
8:15 left to go in the game, and like you say, Blue Springs is going to chew down most of this clock as they can. Up by 3 possessions. Erickson takes the snap in the shotgun formation and finds an open receiver out to the far side, complete.
Nothing you
only
do.
A gain of 3.
If you're the Wildcats, I mean, you can't get too crazy here, but I mean, they want to. They can start trying out some plays, some things they want to work on. They got a comfortable enough lead that if they do make a mistake, that they still like their chances. So this is a great opportunity. Like we said a couple of times, it is week 1. There's a lot of things you still got to work on. This is the time to practice them.
Erickson trying to draw the Lee Summit West front line offside. 2 receivers out on both sides here on 3rd and 5. All the way back at their own 10-yard line. Erickson in the shotgun with the back line up to his left. Play action. Fires over the middle. Caught! Past the 25 and gets tackled at the 28. And who else other than Devin Staley coming up with the catch?
Yeah, Staley's had a handful of grabs tonight, but I really like that by Erickson. He sold that hard play fake so well, got the safety to take a couple steps down, and then just sidearms that thing right in there for an easy pass and completion, and then a great job holding on to that through a little bit of contact. So nice play there by the Wildcats. They're going to keep this drive alive.
Same formation as the previous play. Under 7 minutes to go in the 4th. Play action from Erickson. He's going to keep it himself to the left side, and he's going to try and get his way up to the 35, but they'll mark him down at the 34. for only a gain of 4 yards on the quarterback play. 6.5 minutes now remain in this game, and it appears that Blue Springs is going to chew away as much of this clock as they can. Like I said a minute ago, but that does appear to be their strategy. If they can hold on to the ball for as long as possible. I mean, really, you could hang on to the ball for the next six minutes if you would, but at least Summit West, they've got 3 timeouts still. So, they have those 3 timeouts in case they try or if they will make it a close game late. You never know. As Erickson lobs this one up down the far side, and it's going to fall incomplete.
Yeah, he's taking a shot downfield one-on-one. Just trying to have some fun, I think, right now. But, yeah, for this Titans defense, they have been on the field a lot tonight. A lot of these turnovers, interceptions, bad punts, whatever it was or whatever led to the turnover on downs. There's been a ton of things they've made them lose the ball in this game. This Titans defense has played a pretty solid one, only giving up 24 points. But how much do they have left in the tank? Probably not a lot. It's late in the fourth quarter. It's week 1, running low on energy. And I think this Wildcats offense, like you said, they could take advantage of it and just run this game all the way down if they want to.
3rd and 6. Erickson takes the snap in the gun. Looking for an open man downfield. He's going to roll out to his left. Gets past the first down marker and pushed out of bounds right around the 42. So Wyatt Erickson takes it himself on the quarterback keeper on 3rd and 6 and extends the drive for Blue Springs.
Yeah, I'm surprised about the lack of attempts for runs here by the Wildcats. I feel like most of the runs that came from Erickson taking off, or a lot of their plays are just these quick dump-off passes and let that receiver get a little bit of rack yards, yards after catch. And that's just kind of their motto so far. Quick passes, efficient passes, moving the ball methodically down the field. And it's working on this drive like it's worked on a couple of their drives in this game already.
1st and 10 at their own 43. Another handoff play. Gets past midfield. At the 45. At the 40. Gets tackled at the 34-yard line. There is a flag thrown.
Yeah, I think that one's going to probably be coming back.
Might be holding here on Blue Springs as saw a lot of blocks there on that run.
I was just talking about I haven't really had a run break for him yet, and then, of course, there it is. It's going to come back on a penalty, so unfortunate break for the Wildcats. But once again, we're down to, 5:40 here in the fourth quarter.
So it'll push the Wildcat offense back 5 yards on that holding penalty. We're just going to wait here for them to place the ball down, and they'll place it on the left hash at the 43. 5:42 remaining in this game. And Blue Springs with the ball, up by 3 possessions, and they've controlled the majority of this game. However, at least Summit West, they've had multiple opportunities to make it a close game, but Blue Springs has found a way here throughout all of these hiccups that we've seen on both sides tonight.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of hiccups on both sides, and that's expected early in the year. But for the Titans,
Erickson winds up, fires down the near sideline, and incomplete, but there is a flag thrown at the end of the play. Another pass interference penalty will likely be called here on Lee Summit West.
Yeah, no really opportunity there for the receiver who's getting grabbed all the way down the sideline. And it's been chippy outside a lot. There's been some missed calls, but there's also been some no calls, and that time they do call pass interference. But a lot of times, even if you go back just a few plays ago, they took a shot down the left sideline. Very similar activity going on with the hands, guys kind of tugging on each other. No call that time, but this time they're going to ring them up for a pass interference. And that will give them the automatic first down, which is big because, that just keeps this drive alive, and that's another, 2 minutes they're probably going to be able to run off the clock.
So they'll put the ball down at the Lee Summit West 42 after the pass interference penalty. 24-6. Pure dominance here from Blue Springs. Looking to draw out as much of the clock here as they can. There's some movement up front. We'll see who the penalty will be called on.
Looks
it's
like
going to be
on
close.
The Titans, but
And it will be offsides on Lee Summit West. You never know. There might be a lineman for Blue Springs that might have moved just maybe an inch, and it got everybody to move. I mean, they look at that stuff, very closely. But
Yeah, I mean, I've seen linemen get called for sneezing before. It's allergy season out here. Sometimes you sneeze pre-snap and they can throw a flag on you, so you got to be a statue before it. But that time, yeah, definitely the Titans jumped in there a little bit early.
5:18 left to go in the fourth. Erickson handing it off up the middle, past the 35 to the 25, down to the 20, tackled at the 18-yard line.
What a run there by Olberg. Just lowering his shoulder and running through a guy. It's impressive to see him run that hard this late in the game. Still a lot of energy coming out of Olberg there, and this Wildcats offense still very lively as they're looking to put another touchdown on this board and definitely walk out of here with an easy W here in week 1. And I think on the flip side of that, there's a few things the Titans obviously need to work on offensively, but all in all for the Titans, a lot of good misdirection plays. And like you said, they had some opportunities. They just kind of left some points on the board.
1st and 10, another handoff play to Olberg. Gets past the 15 and up to the 13-yard line, so make it a gain of 7 yards from Olberg. And it'll be 2nd and short. And we do have some whistles. We might have a injury timeout here for Lee Summit West. And been talking about the cramps, talking about the muggy weather and those things. That's going to happen in the first few weeks, dealing with cramps and stuff like that. You could see looked like it was a leg cramp. I mean, I've had plenty of those in my lifetime. And
I mean, a lot of times it's early. It's, these guys, you go all summer, you run your summer camps, your jamborees, you do all that kind of stuff to try to get into shape. But once you get into a game and it's late, you never really are ready for that, especially some of those bigger guys, linemen, and you get worn out pretty early in these games. And it takes a couple of weeks to kind of settle in to get used to running down on that much energy. So, like I was kind of just complimenting Olberg just a minute ago. I mean, how hard he was running this late in the game shows that he is in what we would call mid-season form here already.
It looks like that's Michael Patillo for Lee Summit West coming off of the field with an apparent leg cramp, possibly.
Yeah, you got to hope it's all it is, just a cramp, something to kind of shake off, and hopefully be back out here next week. Hate to see any of these players get dinged up too heavily here in week 1 and then not be able to play next week. So he'll limp off to the sideline, take a seat down. Hopefully it's just a cramp.
4.5 minutes left to go in this game. Blue Springs looking to maybe find their way into the end zone one last time tonight. 2nd down and 4. With one receiver out left, 2 out to the right. And a whistle blown right before the snap. And I don't know if this is an official's timeout or what it is, but Blue Springs will go back to their huddle to maybe reconvene on the play that they want to draw up.
Yeah, I mean, for Blue Springs, an impressive showing here in week 1. I mean, not a whole lot of execution issues for them. The Titans definitely had a few more penalties, a few more errors, and that shows when the game was this close for that long. I mean, at halftime, the score was only 10-0. It was still anybody's game. But coming out strong, a couple of interceptions early by the Titans. Was it the opening drive? Was it first play? Edwards slinged one in there, got intercepted. So just a few mistakes offensively for this Titans they're going to need to clean up. But all in all, both these teams coming out of here with just a handful of injuries. I think it's a successful week 1, especially for Blue Springs.
Lobbing one up. Incomplete. No flag thrown, though, at the end of the play. As Erickson tried to connect with Height on 2nd down, it'll bring up 3rd and 4 at the Lee Summit West 13. And a really big play here coming up here for Blue Springs. If it does get to a 4th down, you got to wonder what they're going to do. Maybe they will go to the field goal unit and maybe try and kick 3 if they don't get it here. But 3rd and 4 coming up here for the Wildcats. A handoff play up the middle, and it's going to be close As
I
the
believe he
Wildcats
got
say
it.
he got across for the first down.
Yeah, good run there, and I'm glad, because honestly, with the question you were throwing out there a second ago, what we like to call that is their sportsmanship. What's your sportsmanship look like here? Because, yes, a sportsmanship move would be to send the field goal kicker out there, but if you want points, you're going to just run it in there. But first down, I believe, here. Or they marking him just short. We'll see. No, I'll give it to him. First and goal for the Wildcats. It looked like he had it by a yard. Took him a second to change it on the sticks.
It's going to be first and goal at the 9-yard line, 24-6. Blue Springs leads it here over the Titans in the Suburban Gold Conference matchup to open up the 2025 season. We have a few whistles before the snap, and we might have another timeout possibly. I don't know. The officials have just been blowing their whistles left and right tonight. So honestly, half the time I'm not really sure what the timeout's for or what's going on. But
Earlier I thought maybe it was they haven't done one of those water timeouts. It was so muggy out here. I wonder if they're going to do any water timeouts, but I didn't see it. But looks like we're going to continue play here.
Two split out wide to the left, one out to the right. First and goal as Erickson will hand it off in the shotgun formation up the middle as Olberg will look like he'll get past the 5. He'll get tackled at the 4. It'll be a gain of 5 on first and goal. Second down and goal coming up at the 4.
The Wildcats really got a solid running back in Olberg. There's two types of running backs out there. You got evasive running backs, guys that'll see a dude in front of them. They'll maybe put their foot in the ground, hit a spin move, try to juke around him. And there's guys like Olberg. They see a guy in front of him. He just lowers his shoulder and just tries to run through him. Now, why that's an effective style of running is it's going to be punishing on that defense. Where late in the game, those defenders are going to think twice about before they run up and want to hit you because how hard do they want to get hit by you. So Olberg just running through this defense, this worn-out Titans linebacking core. And let's see if he can punch it in here.
Second and goal at the 4. And they'll give it back to Olberg, fighting his way to the goal line. He's going to get pushed back to the 3. And they're going to give him 2 yards. It'll be third and goal at the 2. And we might have another timeout. And it'll be a Lee Summit West timeout here with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left to go here in this game. Down by 18 points at home.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. I mean, those guys are exhausted. Get them some water. I don't want to see another player go down cramping. Let's try to prevent those a little bit. But for the Titans here, you talk about doing something right to end a game, something to build on in the next week. I think a stand here by this defense is definitely something you can build in the next week. Hopefully they can get it done. A third and goal now. Need about 3 or 4 yards still by the Wildcats to punch this one in there. I don't know if they'll go right back to Olberg. A couple attempts there, not able to get it done. Maybe a bootleg here. Put the ball into your quarterback's hands. See if Erickson can either roll out and find something quickly or just run it in himself.
It'll be interesting to see what Blue Springs does here on third and goal. Once again, they only have 2 more yards to get into the end zone, so it'll be an interesting play call. And we talked a little bit about, sportsmanship and, what's your sportsmanship like and, what are you going to do with an 18-point lead on the road. You got the ball, just outside the goal line with just over 2 minutes left to go in the game, when pretty much essentially by this point, Blue Springs has taken this game by its reins.
Yeah, I mean, the fat lady's singing for sure. There's no doubt about it.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. I almost said that myself.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take it. It's the low-hanging fruit. But for Blue Springs here, I think you punch it in. I don't think there's any hurt feelings here. You're working on stuff. You're trying to figure things out, moving on to the next week. And like I said, just like the Titans want the stop to hang their hat on, the Wildcats want a touchdown.
Third and goal at the 2. And he's going to get tackled in the backfield and for a loss of 2. It'll be fourth and goal at the 4. And some whistles after the play. It looks like Lee Summit West is going to use their second timeout here in the second half. They'll have 1 timeout left with 2:07 remaining in the game.
I get it if you're just trying to get your guys more practice, but I don't think there's not a lot of plays in the playbook that are going to put up 20 points in one play. So even if they get the ball back here, a couple of plays for your offense that's already pretty winded, I think I would just take this one out and knee it out, move on to next week. No sense in playing any more football and getting someone hurt.
2:07 left to go in the game, and, fourth and goal, it's kind of tough. I mean, I would imagine that Blue Springs will just put the field goal through the uprights and make it 27-6.
So here's my question for you. If you're the coach, what are you doing? Are you kicking it in, Austin, or are you maybe going for it, trying to put up a touchdown?
Well, Romero's done a pretty good job with the kicking game so far. He has shown in this game that he's got a decent leg. So I would say kick the field goal. But, I mean, if you want to add points onto the scoreboard and if you really want to feel good about your offense, I mean, why not? But if I were the coach, I would absolutely kick the field goal here with just over 2 minutes left to go, up by 18. But it looks like Blue Springs here is going to go for it on 4th down to add on to their lead. Erickson lining up under center. 4th and goal. Play action. Rolling out to his right. Fires. End zone. Caught. Touchdown, Blue Springs.
Yeah, tough break there for the Titans. Kind of sold out for the run off that play fake. They roll out Erickson to the right, and he's got multiple options. Multiple guys open.
So on 4th and goal, Erickson tosses his 3rd touchdown pass of the evening.
That's twice now he's hooked up with Banker, with the touchdown there. Wide open. Just kind of sitting there waiting for the pass. The
Snap
extra
spot.
point is up and good.
So on 4th and goal, Wyatt Erickson, the junior quarterback, connecting with Brock Banker, the junior slot wide receiver for Blue Springs, once again in the corner of the end zone with 2:03 remaining in the game, 31-6. A blowout lead here for Blue Springs on the road. 31-6 our score. We'll be back after this short commercial break. You are watching Missouri High School football right here on A10Varsity.com.
My name is Bree McNally. I am actually a server downtown at Grunauer. Our 15-year-old son was in an automobile accident and he was taken by ambulance to Children's Mercy Hospital. So when I called Eric, he just, was upfront about everything, let me know what the process would be. So Eric was easy to communicate with. I could Facebook Messenger him, call the office, text him, and he was always super responsive and handled everything in a timely manner.
And we're back live on A10Varsity.com. 31-6. Blue Springs just putting it on Lee Summit West tonight on the road. Coming into the season, ranked 16th in the A10 Varsity Top 25 rankings. Well, this performance tonight will surely help them move up the ranking board just a little bit at least, even though it's just the first game. But Blue Springs just putting it on Lee Summit West tonight. Romero kicks this one away. And Harris will field it into the end zone. He's going to fair catch it for a touchback.
Yeah, that's a big deal for the Titans. I mean, we saw Harris go down early. That's their star player on offense. You do not want to lose him. So I'm glad to see it was just some cramps for him. We mentioned it last drive that he was back in the game. He's definitely their leading receiver in yards, receptions. So good to see him back out there. And this will be interesting for the Titans, too. I'm not sure what they're looking to get out of this drive, or even if the starters will stay in. Is this the backups?
2 minutes, 3 seconds remain in this game. And just not a whole lot of time for Lee Summit West to put together some sort of comeback.
Yeah, and right there, I don't see Edwards out on the field.
It's going to be Noah Herrera, the sophomore quarterback, coming in for Dawson Edwards. His first pass falls incomplete.
Now that one was almost intercepted. Risky play there. But hard to come off the bench with a minute 50 in the fourth and come out there and expect to do much of anything. But cool to see Carrera get an opportunity here.
1:50 left to go in the game. 2nd and 10. Noah Herrera, the sophomore quarterback, taking over for Dawson Edwards here, under 2 minutes left to go. And a handoff play to the left side as he crosses the 30-yard line to the 35, and he'll go down at the 37. Myrick Rollison on the carry. Gets a Titan first down here with just over a minute and a half left to go.
Yeah, that's good to see him back out there, too. We saw Rollison go down earlier, so looks like the Titans are going to get out of here completely healthy, and that's always a good sign.
First and 10 at the 37 for Lee Summit West at their own 37. And he'll keep it himself up the middle past the 40. And he'll get all the way up to the 43. Noah Herrera keeps it himself and gets the call on first and 10 all the way up to the 43. Gain of 6 yards makes it 2nd and 4. 1:05 remaining in the game. 31-6. Blue Springs up by a ton on the road. Quick pass play out to the near side. It's caught. Trying to spin around a couple of defenders. Almost broke loose, but gets tackled at the 45 of Blue Springs. And a really nice move.
Yeah, by Chi there, the receiver. Caden Chi making a couple of guys miss, so pretty impressive there. I think these are the twos for the Titans at most positions, so letting those starters rest out for the rest of this night, but letting the backups get a little bit of burn. So I think to mention, too, I think at this point is, next week Lee Summit West is at Oak Park. It's a winnable game for them. They won that game last year. Oak Park and I think the Titans are almost similar levels recently, so we'll see if they can get it done against Oak Park. They're going to fall to 0-1 here, but get back to 500, get back to 1-1, and we'll take it from there.
Well, as we kind of talked about both of these teams, we do have an injury timeout here for Blue Springs. We'll keep it on the air for now as we'll get set to resume play here with 52.9 seconds here in the fourth quarter. And, just really looking at, Blue Springs 37-0 last year on almost this exact same date. But it's 31-6. I mean, they took so Lee Summit West, they took 6 of those points away that they scored from last year.
Exactly.
So
they stole 6 points away from them. So a little bit of improvement. But also looking forward to here Blue Springs next week, a good one. They beat Lee Summit West. Next week they play Lee Summit. So they're coming after Lee Summit all together. See if they can get it done against the Tigers next week.
As we resume action here late in the fourth, Herrera fires over the middle. Caught at the 30. Jukes around a defender. Falls down right before the 25 at the 26. And a nice move there by Dion Gavin.
Yeah, nice moves by Gavin. A little shake and bake there, but I think he shook himself out of his own shoes, tripping up and falling down. But a positive drive here by the Titans backups.
2 receivers out on both sides. Herrera rolling it out to his near side. And it's caught. Past the 15 and down at the 11. 27.7 seconds remain in this game. And Lee Summit West, they just want to punch it into the end zone one last time before the clock hits 0 to at least feel good about something, to close out this game. Obviously, this game has not gone their way tonight, but if you're looking to maybe try and punch it into the end zone, if you can do that, it'll give you something to build off of going into next week.
Oh, absolutely.
Herrera fires over the middle, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, and incomplete. So you looked for Caden Chi on the reception. Caden Chi, rather.
Yeah, Chi should have had that one. I think he knows it, too. He had it right there. He had a good catch just a few plays ago, this time unable to haul that one in, but still a productive drive for him. See if they can do anything here. Just about 16 seconds left in this game. What are you doing here? You're taking a shot to the end zone? You're going to try to just methodically get, 2, maybe 3 more plays out of this clock, or are you just taking shots?
You got nothing to lose at this point if you're Lee Summit West with the way the score looks right now. 16 seconds, that's not a lot of time to score that many points to come back. Herrera rolling out to his right. He's going to be met in the backfield for a sack. And I don't know if Lee Summit West is going to call a timeout here to get one last play, and it looks like they will. So Lee Summit West is going to use their final timeouts just to get one more play off before the end of the game.
Yeah, Lee Summit West is getting every play possible out of this game right now. I mean, using all 3 of their timeouts, getting as many reps as possible. But right there on that play where it went wrong, I mean, it's a designed wide receiver screen. So those linemen, I mean, they're throwing their guys back and they're rolling off to the right to go block for the receiver on the screen, and the quarterback just never gets it out. I think a little bit of overthinking by the QB. They're able to not dump that one off, and he's going to get punished for it with a big sack by that Wildcat defense. And now it's going to make it 3rd and a country mile, 3rd and 25 to be exact.
7.8 seconds left to go in the fourth, and Blue Springs is going to walk away here 1-0 with a really impressive showing on the road. Obviously, it's a big confidence booster for you if you go on the road in a conference matchup to open up the season and to get a win like this, to win by 20-plus points.
Yeah, definitely a dominant win, a no-doubt win by Blue Springs, and exactly something to feel good about for them moving on to the next week. And Lee Summit's no slouch. I mean, Lee Summit, that is going to be a tough game for them next week. Should be a very close competitive game, as I think both those teams will be looking to move to 2-0.
Well, this will likely be the final play of the game. Play action from Herrera. Fires over the middle. It's caught past the 20. And he'll get tackled right before the 10. And the clock hits 0. And that's your ball game. The Blue Springs Wildcats open up the 2025 season, coming here on the road in Lee Summit, Missouri, as they take down the Lee Summit West Titans. Wildcats win it 31-6. Well, it wasn't the most perfect game, and as you saw in the first half, both teams got off to a little bit of a sloppy start. Blue Springs with a better start, though. It was sloppy at times, a lot of hiccups, not just for us, getting this game started and all that with the internet. But, there were a couple of official timeouts, and there were some snaps that went over people's heads. I mean, so much was going on. So
your biggest difference in this one is for Blue Springs, they were able to clean it up, not quit making penalties, no more turnovers, no more penalties. They cleaned it all up, and they were able to put 21 points up in the second half. For the Titans, the interceptions continued, the turnover on downs continued, the penalties continue. They weren't able to clean it up in the second half, and they found themselves lose 31-6. And I mean, just going into next week, I think both teams are just discipline. It's discipline. You got to get rid of the penalties, get rid of the silly mistakes, be smarter with the football, because I think both these teams can have a productive season moving forward. And for the Titans, for sure, they got to work on the special teams. Cannot leave those 4 points up on the board. They had the extra point they missed and the field goal. Like you said, the interception they had, or the punt that gave them the ball on the 5-yard line, and they couldn't get it in.
I mean, it was just, like I said, Blue Springs didn't have the most perfect game either. You remember when, they had the ball, right at the 2-yard line, looking to punch it in, and they throw just a really bad interception there. But I mean, give credit to Wyatt Erickson tonight. He had a really good showing, and that was just a really good play by Drew Garberger, the senior safety, coming up with a play. But yeah, just a lot of ups and downs tonight. But Blue Springs, they come up victorious here on opening night in Lee Summit, Missouri, as they win it 31-6. Indicates Point. Lee Summit West, they will take on Oak Park next week, and Blue Springs will take on Lee Summit next week. Both of those matchups will be really good. It'll be ones to watch for sure. But with that being said, that's going to do it here in Lee Summit, Missouri, as the Wildcats of Blue Springs, they win it here 31-6 over the Lee Summit West Titans. I'm Austin, he's Cade. Just want to say thank you all so much for tuning into A10 Varsity. We appreciate you all choosing to spend your Friday evening with us, and we'll see you all for the next one right here on A10Varsity.com. Thank you all so much for watching and tuning in. Hope you all have a great and safe